not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start. They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No! Stop! You don't need that. What you need is one town, one place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay, I'd hope you get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Holy, look at all this damage!
Where? Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I. I believe that until proven guilty, every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent.
Now is left to me to deal with him. You can't.
If you try to interfere, this becomes a much simpler matter. I will kill your wife. I will kill your son. I will kill your infant daughter.
But for now, we're going to look at a slightly different system that doesn't just affect the moment of death, but the moments before death. Something that makes combat more grounded, horror more horrifying, and sacrifices all the more heroic. Picture a movie fight scene between a hero and villain. They're clashing blades, dancing back and forth, parrying, dodging, blocking, keeping up with each other's advances, surprising each other with new techniques and strategies, until finally, one of them lands a devastating blow. It's not just a graze on the arm, it's not just a smack on the chest. It's 0 HP. When using the point of no return system, we want to draw attention to this moment of the fight, to make that hit extra cinematic and weighted and affect the decisions that your players are going to make when they are given that critical choice of staying down or getting up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode and the final episode of the Adventures of the Salamander Coast. So let's not delay any longer. Let's go ahead and roll the intro and dive right in. Yeah, this might be.
For what I'm fucking doing, but I'm trying every fucking day.
I would have never even met you.
Sure, it's a very lengthy repertoire. But
a powerful warrior, which, you know, I definitely agree with you on, but
So. Hi, everybody. We're back.
Lied.
Thank you, Duke. And for what it's worth, I'm glad you can't read, so you can be here. That's what matters most. No, your school matters too.
He spells very well for someone who can't read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a liar?
Wait a
Duke?
minute.
Odd that he's getting his master's and can't read.
I would imagine it's hard to get into the master's school, grad school. That's what that's called. I imagine it's hard to get into grad school if you can't read, but maybe it's different.
Text to voice really good these days, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're doing math, I guess, you know, whatever.
She's Wolfram Alpha, dude. All right. Well, let's go ahead and dive in. Same thing as before with the session that we played on Saturday. Typically, the players do the summary on this channel this week. Same as Saturday. No, it is me. I will do the summary, and it's going to be very sweet and very short, as we've got a lot of good stuff we want to get into tonight. Picking up where we left off, the Wanderers and the Forerunners face down against two final threats. Within Chronovas Ioneda, the Threads of Time, they face down against Malice Baynir, the last of the Forsaken, and the Forsaken that had betrayed the Dark One, or the concept of that void that was consuming the world. Betraying that, trying to reshape the world to her whims and to her word, she... My connection is not good right now. That's not good. Don't like that. Okay, I think we're good. Wanting to take over the world for her own, reshaping it into her image. Malice was slain. Defeated, finally, the Bansheen permanently dispelled and gone. In a moment of quiet reprieve within the Threads of Time, they breathed. They looked to each other, they healed each other, and right as they were about to make this final descent to shatter the rapier, they were pulled to a different realm, to the heart of souls. And there they faced down against Solvis Emerald, the Simulacrum, an ally of theirs since the very beginning of their adventures, and Sigrun, the former queen of the Valkyries. Emerald spoke of how by them doing what they planned to do, to destroy the dagger and the rapier, and what would happen when that's done, it would forsake this world. Not now, not immediately, but it would break that cycle. It would ensure that this world eventually withered and died. Eons from now, sure, but it would. Effectively ending the immortal life of the world by breaking that wheel, breaking that cycle. But they stood their ground. They know what they believed in. And to allow a world to exist in a perpetual cycle of pain and suffering just so it can endure is not a life that any of them would want to live. So, to break that cycle, to break those chains, they brandish their weapons, and the battle begins. They are war-torn, drained. They are at the end of their rope, and thanks to an incredibly well-placed spell by Carasilla with Force Cage, they're able to block Sigrun off, preventing her from interacting with the fight at all, leaving Emerald to fend for himself. And while he is an extremely powerful sorcerer, one sorcerer versus two groups of heroes and a dragon is no match. Although in the end it was close, Emerald is slain, and the final aspect of the creator that was embedded into him is dispersed. It is destroyed. And as those final threads drift away, it's time. It's time to break that cycle, to end it, and allow this world to flourish and one day decay on its own, without the intervention and pain and suffering of some supposed benevolent creator. And that's right where we're going to pick up. Now, as all of you are picking yourselves up, catching your breath in this moment, two things happen. One, Nalthian does move over to Carasilla, and you can see they're both on that same edge of the arena there. And I'll go ahead and move everybody back to a broken soul here. You see Nalthian move over to Carasilla, and Carasilla, Nalthian speaks to you momentarily. And this is something that you and Kayla already talked about, but a conversation is had. You all can see Nalthian references the dagger at her belt, and the rapier at his side, and then the two of them look to the rest of you, share one final moment, and then they depart. As Nalthian will head back to the Forerunners, and this moment will be had at Isles, but pretty much is able to pull all of you back to the threads of time. So Nalthian, his echoes, Ajax, and Twig all vanish with a final farewell to all of you, leaving it up to all of you what to do with Sigrun, since it's Carasilla's spell, and you all have the closer relationship with Sigrun. So, before we handle the Heart of Souls, it is an important question as to what all of you plan to do with Sigrun. You could choose to leave her trapped here, or you could let her go. I will say right off the bat, even no investigation check or insight check, necessary, she is not going to fight if you release her. She's broken. You can see the war paint she had on is just tear-soaked and dripping down her face as she sits there in disbelief and pain. If she's really, she won't fight. And you're pretty confident that she won't become an issue in the future. But it's up to all of you what you'd like to do.
I think especially because it's Carasilla's spell, she's just gonna make her way over to the cage, and when she gets to it, she will dispel it, and she will reach a hand down to where Sigrun, I guess, is like collapsed on herself, and give her a hand to help her out. She get out of here, you know?
I do not deserve another chance, Carasilla.
None of us do, but you're getting one anyways.
You can see she reaches up and grabs your hand. You help her stand. And she looks to the rest of your companions and back to you, Carasilla, and says, I hope you know what you're doing.
We'll see.
And with that, provided nobody else wishes to say anything to Sigrun, you can see there is a small, like, opalescent crystal at her side that she will grab hold of and begin to hold up, channeling the magic that all of you have seen wielded by Heimdall before back in Adarashi, that of the Bifrost, a sort of teleportation magic unique to Jormungandr. So unless anybody tries to stop her, she will vanish, leaving all of you alone within the Heart of Souls.
I mean, I think Carasilla said it best.
Okay. Sounds good. So with that, there you all stand. Carasilla, you look behind you, you can see Heart of Souls, this sort of undulating metaphysical mass of light and essence of being. It is every sensation, every feeling, every emotion, every memory of the world. Not every detail, not every event, but every memory. The way we remember things is embedded into the Heart of Souls. The emotions that influence how we remember them. The senses that are embedded into those memories is here. In this one mystical point. You can feel the dagger thrum with energy. There is this magnetic, repulsion, but this desire to meld. Like two halves of a magnet fighting against each other, trying to come together, but trying to be repulsed from one another too. So, to all of you, what are you doing?
Ajax is going to make his way over to Carasilla. Is Carasilla holding the dagger?
Yeah, I imagine she's just kind of been holding it and staring down at it for a few moments at this point.
Ajax comes up behind and lightly puts his hand on your shoulder and says,
Are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be, I suppose. Been long enough time coming after all. And hopefully from what Nafi and I talked about, it should lead to, well, things healing, moving on.
Well, if there's anyone strong enough to do it, it's you. Don't doubt yourself for a second.
And I think she'll just give Ajax a hug at that point.
Got this.
Sorry, I'm really already crying.
No.
Bianca's gonna go over to Carasilla and take off the cloak that's connected to the mommer and wrap it around her. And I can't get through it, so she's gonna hug her.
Gonna make me cry. Stop this.
You're welcome. And as she hugs her, she'll just whisper in her ear. All the souls are so lucky that you'll be the one to keep them safe. And that's all Felicity can even get through as she hugs her tight.
Oh. Yeah. I imagine at that point, Carasilla will have tears of her own, just sighing. I'm also, I'm not sure if it's safe for all of you to be here either for it.
Safe? What are you talking about safe? You seen all the shit we just did?
Yeah, well, different shit. I don't know how messy this will be.
No matter how large the mess is, we'll be here to help you clean it up. We're not going anywhere, Carasilla.
All right.
It's us till the end, right?
Yeah. But please at least stay some distance.
Besides, if it does blow up and we do all die, well, at least we died somewhere very cool.
I don't think that's the takeaway we should have from this, but
I think it's a
Try to
pretty
lighten
solid
the
one.
mood. Thank you, Cicely.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Ajax double takes at Suni. Because he's a
Still
dragon
a
now.
dragon.
Yeah, just like expecting it to stop at some point.
Cameron, like I said, Suni does have the ability to shapeshift in that form. So anytime you're ready, you can.
Oh no, he's gonna soak it up.
Okay.
no, stay dragon, man. I respect it.
He'll lower his head down to Ajax's eye level. I'm finally taller than all of you.
Ajax looks up. Just pats him on the side.
Did you
Lore
figure out
question.
how to stand on your tail yet?
Wow, that's a callback. Does he sound the same? That's
Yeah.
my question.
For sure.
Okay. So
It does.
Cecily, there'll be a pause,
Kind of really funny.
and then she's gonna start cracking up. Like she's gonna just hearing his same voice come out of an ancient being is just, yeah. She finds that very, very funny.
He's gonna flap his wing in her direction to try to make her fall over.
Okay. I'm gonna assume as a level 18 storm sorcerer, she controls the wind and bounces in the air, but but she'll gesture received. She'll knock it off.
Just see 1 second. Before Carousel goes forward, Ajax is going to let out not like a victorious roar, which will give everyone advantage on attacks and saving throws.
So
Yeah, Carousel would just be looking back at the scene. Suni being very Suni. And honestly, Cecily too. Just smile. And then turn and I guess approach to where the actual heart is.
you step forward, Carasilla, and as you hold the dagger in your hand, you can feel that like shaking, the power within it. And as you're told, the dagger must be shattered upon the heart of souls. So one stab should do it. So
And I'll ask, because she and Alfian had plans to kind of, like, shape things in a way that has been kind of alluded to, especially with Malice, is she, like, feeling that kind of connection and that ability?
it is very strange. You can it feels like there's like pressure on your feet right now, as if something's pushing up. It feels like you and Nalfian are like standing at the same moment, at the same time, and like you two are connected in this moment. And you feel that image, that idea that Nalfian talked to you about, that you two agreed on in that moment. And when you stab, so will he. And together, the two of you will form what you spoke of. You do feel something else present, though, Carasilla. Something else. You're not sure exactly what, but there is something else here aside from you and Nalfian.
Does there seem to be, like, any maliciousness or intent that she can kind of vibe out from it?
It seems hungry.
Ominous, okay. Yeah, so she'll stand there just, again, just taking another moment to herself, and I guess in a way of like self-soothing, because, you know, it'd be very evident that she is very scared in this moment. She is going to just start like humming to herself some melody she's definitely played like a million different times. And then she'll take one deep breath, turn to face the party, and kind of just ensure that they are at least somewhat back from where the heart is, just in case anything happens. And just looking back and smiling at them, she will just then take off her hat, give one big sweeping bow, and just back at the party say, I love you all. And then plunge her dagger in.
Carasilla, as you bring the dagger up and down, in this moment, there isn't a crash like shattered glass. Instead, it is this white noise, this ringing. Everything goes numb and quiet. And all of you can see as you look upon Carasilla, the world around her like fragments and moves, like this like Rubik's Cube like movement of shifting squares of essence and time and being. And you can see these tendrils of shadow, of void, this thin point in between the realm of nothing and everything, trying to reach out, trying to grab her. And all of you fought against the shadow for so long, you will not let it claim Carasilla in this moment. You can also see essences of reality snapping and breaking. Cecily, you spent a long time studying with Tyr and with Odin about repairing those threads to the best of your ability, the damage that Balefire caused. You can see it entirely evident here at this point. So Cecily, using what you learned from Tyr and Odin, you try and repair some of those spots, fixing it, mending it. Bianca, Ajax, and Suni, you fight away the shadow that tries to claim Carasilla in this moment. With breath of lightning, spear of radiance, and bow of flame, you fight with everything. Even though most of you are drained and tired, you will not let this moment be in vain. For you, Carasilla, what you see is something entirely different. You see this golden gate, ethereal and beautiful. You walk along a path towards this realm unlike anything you've seen before.
There's no token vision. Sorry.
When you see this realm, there's a blackness that fades from your eyes, as it was so much to take in initially. As you walk along this path, someone is walking beside you. As you hear his voice, Emerald's voice. So, it is done then, isn't it?
Well, my part is at least. If Nalfian hasn't already, then I'm sure he's on the way too.
How do you know this is the right choice?
I don't. No one ever does. No one ever can. Not even you, it seems. You still need to make choices. Can't just stand in life.
I hope it does work out.
You know the beautiful thing, if we do misstep, if we trip and stumble, we can always get up.
It is my realm no longer. And with this final exhale, you see this final whisper of the Creator, this essence left at the beginning, the origin of the universe, or at least this half of it. The primordial essence of existing, not the structure that provides it the rigidity, but the thing that makes being human, that makes life worth living, the love and emotion and beauty and soul. And Carasilla, you don't feel pain in this moment. You feel yourself beginning to shatter, to unravel, to dissolve into this realm. And I'll ask one final question. Is there anything Carasilla is doing to prevent this? Or is she just letting it happen?
I mean, I think in that initial moment there is that panic thing of just like, go stop yourself falling, go stop yourself getting her, unraveling, whatever. But it's something she's been aware of, at least for a little while now. And so I think in that moment, just kind of taking control of it, and also just, doing her best to make sure that this new reality, this new realm, I guess, has as much power in it. I think she'll also, I guess, cast Celestial Ray, just ensuring that every essence just kind of bursts out. That kind of, I guess, light of the Creator that powers that spell is able to kind of go full.
Carasilla, in that moment, it isn't painful. It's warm. It is sitting by the fire on a cold winter day, sipping on a cup of mulled wine, surrounded by your friends and family. And from that memory, from that feeling of being, this realm begins to change and shift. These ethereal, metaphysical, golden strands and undulating emotions made physical and primordial begin to shift and change from a realm of ethereal golden light to these ethereal blues and greens, this endless rolling field of nature. These beautiful rivers cutting through the entire landscape, and you can see these pockets, these small divots in the ground every few feet. And at the very, very center of this realm, you can see one tree begin to grow large, many different branches sprouting from one to the other. And around that tree, you can see more begin to sprout and grow. But you don't see them. Not necessarily. You are them. You grow them. You are a part of them. You feel this song within your heart. The song you sang before walking in. A song you sang many times before, and one that has carried much weight with you. One you've used in similar dire circumstances. A song of sorrow, a song of comfort, this new realm that you garden, that you grow, that you are Carasilla. You create this fertile land, beautiful and endless, free of corruption, full of light and beauty and growth, where an endless song cycles through the air. A land where seeds are ready to be planted and trees are ready to grow. With that, as we go back to the rest of our companions, you see Carasilla's form slowly fade away. Not unravel, but slowly dim in opacity. She just becomes nothing. And all of you feel this realm that you're in begin to break. Not violently, but dissolve in shape. And in that moment of unsure of where to go or what to do, you just breathe deeply. And as all of you open your eyes, you are in Akai, in front of the Vault of Souls. In the camp, where all of you had settled down to rest. Four of you open your eyes. Suni, you awake in your material, dragonborn body, but you can still feel that power within you. Bianca, you awake in your body, Ajax. And Cecily, you too, but as you look to Carasilla, her form stays slumped and then falls to the side. As all of you move to her, you see that there's another in this room that is already running at her as all of you move to her. As Morwyn, it seems as though your sister has not returned from that journey. All of you have a moment of pain that you share together for losing a companion. But all of you within the Heart of Souls, you saw what happened. You can feel that change. And you can see the door to the Vault of Souls. That ethereal portal begins to shatter and break until it's nothing but an archway. And as that final vestige of magic disappears, all of you hear that song. It just floats out and envelops all of you in its warmth. You still feel her with you. You still feel that song in the air. But it doesn't make the pain of losing her any easier. So is there anything anybody would do specifically in that moment? Or are all of you just sort of sharing it?
I think all Cecily would say to Morwen is, she was never alone. She didn't want us to be there, but we were with her until the very, very end. And I can promise you that even if she's not here, she's okay.
I think I knew. No one loved this world more than she did.
It only made sense that she'd be the one to save it.
And Ajax is going to start humming the song.
Bianca will hum the song with Ajax and also lay down her bow towards Caricilla's body and kneel/genuflect and bow her head in reverence, kind of like what you do when a king or a queen is, crowned. Hopefully to start it for everybody else to join to honor her.
I know.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say that Suni would try to, if he still has enough of this connection with the natural world, to conjure like a bed of balloon flowers around her, which are the flower that he gave her, which represent endless love, and then would join in.
As all of you sing through the verse together, Keothi and Suna join as well, and Keothi will just rest a hand on Caricilla's face as she finishes out the song with all of you. Oh, I am the last of the giants, so learn well the words of my song. For when I am gone, the singing will fade, and the silence shall last long and long. At least for her, I don't think that song will ever fade. As
Never.
Keothi will squeeze you tightly, Morwen first, and then with her big arms will scoop everybody up. Need the help of Ajax. There's a lot of you here to kind of corral in on the outside.
Joe, what's the weather like right now? Would you say?
Right now it's overcast, it's gray and cloudy as those vortexes had left so much debris in the air, but they're dispersing now.
Okay. Cecily would like to use her abilities to sit next to Caricilla and part it and create a patch of sunlight. The first sunlight returning in the entire world, just right here.
And it shines down, bathing all of you in this golden light. And you can see the balloon flowers, they perk up at the sunlight. So all of you take a long time to be with each other and to say goodbye. But there is more to be done. You take time to mourn, but it's not over just yet. A funeral will be held in time, and that is something we will go over in the final epilogue. But for now, there are other people that need help. More when you stay with your sister, of course. But the rest of you, ready yourselves and head back out into the world. And over the course of about 2.5 months, you help. You go to different places where buildings are broken, people are hurt, cities are in ruin, and you do everything you can to aid them and bring the world back to some semblance of normalcy. The Wanderers still united, a few weeks after the events of the final battle, you do come back together for Carasilla's funeral, which we will, like I said, we'll cover later. But in about 3 months, so just a few weeks after the world has had time to breathe, there is word that is spread about how this inhale that many people thought was final for this world becomes an exhale, as everything seems okay. No darkness looms over the world, no threat of Forsaken, no nothing. The final battle has come and passed, and we won. And the leaders of the world want to gather and celebrate this victory. And there is only one place in the world where such a party could be held. And that is in the largest city in the world, the crown jewel of the Salamander coast, Bromsgrove. The immaculate port city built into the mountain will be where this party takes place, this victory celebration. 3 months after the events of the final battle is when the party is held. Right on the edge of summer into fall, the air is cool and crisp, but not cold. The sun still shines down, but there is an endless stream of fireworks that pop off and explode into the dull sunset sky. As, before things can get too much more sad, don't worry, we'll get there eventually.
Fucking late.
I think it's time to have a little bit of levity. What do you guys think? As we cut to the city of Bromsgrove.
Ooh.
Aww.
Now,
Lux Carasilla came from here. Sorry.
Wow.
Uncalled for. Disorderly
I love
contact, sportsmanship, conduct.
Go to the penalty box.
Penalty box for 15 minutes. So, as night descends in Bromsgrove, you can see the city gleam with thousands of lanterns endlessly floating in the sky all around the city. There's a scent of salt from the harbor, fragrance of aromas, spices, incense. All of the culinary artists of the world have come to this spot. You can see banners of deep blue, violet, and gold ripple in the breeze, banners of all of the nations and all of the world here to celebrate their victory. Above all of it radiates the dear Tarman, this brilliant beacon of opal and gold and marble, the wonder of the world. No longer does it shun people from entering, preventing individuals from ascending its steps. Anyone is free to walk up the spire, drink in that beauty and warmth of that light, free of the doubts and meddlings of the Creator. A light that burns bright because of the heroes of this age. Its gentle glow reminds everyone who sees it of hard-won victory and sacrifices made to safeguard this world. The terraces and streets are all packed with people from all realms and walks of life. Rulers, commoners, warriors, scholars, each carrying their own story of the battles they fought in the final battle. Now there are a lot of people here. A lot of people. So obviously all of you are here. The Forerunners are here, and so are the Wardens of Affair. Okay? There's sort of three main groups responsible for the victory at the end. There are a lot of NPCs here to see all of you. You don't need to go speak with any of them if you don't want to. You can play the games and eat the food if that's what you like to do and talk to each other. But just in case, here's everybody that's here. Keothi is here. Suna is here. Mimir is here. Hrothgar is here. Sultana is here. Odin is here. So is Tyr, Thrud, Poe, Grenspook, Hubert, Belvedere, the the creator, Casoro, the last Cynic, Victor Kovtun, who was the Master of Coin in Belcar, or Lislia, Vandor Last Breath, one of the Mazdrum Mountain Dwarves, Alton is here, partner of Ursula, Eildon, Bianca's father, Malfay is here, and so is Alistair, an individual that you all had some interaction with, now a member of the Children of Flame. Now, there are several people from Isles here as well. I don't think any of them are of interest to any of you, though, and I'd like to not spoil the guest list for Isles on Saturday. Now, on top of all of those people, there are also a collection of games and activities. There's a great feast that is held that is very The Grinch. It's very Whoville, where there are literally tables that go throughout the streets where everybody is sharing and breaking bread together. There is a sparring ground where individuals can test their mettle and their strength against the heroes of the realm, with fights adjudicated by Thrud and Odin. As well as
Holy shit.
There is an NPC from Isles that is there also, but I won't spoil that. There is an archery challenge where individuals try to be a better bowman or bowwoman than Twig, Lila, or Bianca. Those are kind of the bars that are there. There is a magical maze that is here for individuals to try and solve. There is Kraken Toss, which is pretty much just like a ring toss game that's done by the port.
And they got over that real quick.
It was never attacked by a Kraken, and it was defeated, so... there is also later in the night, there will be a Sky Lanterns of Remembrance, where all of the people that lost someone in this fight, everybody will be given lanterns of varying shades and colors that they'll toss up in the night sky. There is a puppet show that details the events of the campaigns.
I want to see that first.
Yeah, we're going there immediately first.
I really want the puppet show right now so that I can get out of this funk.
And then finally, there is an astrological boat race where the Arcans have taken a lot of their magic that they used for the ships, the large spelljammers, and they put them on rowboats. So people can fly around on them and race each other up in the sky.
That's everything.
Bronscroft.
That's everything.
So it's like go-karts?
Sorry, not to commandeer this party or anything, but
it's go-karts without a track. That can't go wrong at all.
We got healers here.
I really want to see this puppet show immediately.
I
wonder what we're going to sound. Wait, it's not about us.
Yeah, it's about us.
What do they think? What do you think you're going to sound like?
I hope the version of Cecily that's in this play is only me when I'm doing my impression of my dad. Like, I hope they've just completely rewritten me to be a bearded man.
I heard that impression.
Yeah, hold up, real quick. And she'll use Alter Self and just go, Cecily. That's it. That's the whole impression.
That was pretty good.
So, anyone opposed to the puppet show, or are we going to the puppet show?
Why are you talking like that, Bianca?
This is Felicity. I'm sorry, I can't.
Not opposed, Bianca, whatever's going on there.
I'm Felicity.
Do the
needs
show.
Puppet show.
Yeah,
Puppet
no,
it
we'll
up.
do that.
Okay.
After that, we all gotta go meet Hughes.
Let's go, Binky.
All right. You all head to the puppet show, and you can see that many of the companions of your adventure that were there for quite a bit of time. Keothi is here because she's also curious to see, since she was a part of this story from the get-go, and she's very happy to see all of you. Says, "Oh, you all came to see the puppet show also?"
Well, we gotta.
Of course.
Very intrigued.
Do you think my puppet's gonna be bigger than all of yours, or do you think
Not bigger than mine.
That's a good point, but do you think it'll be like, because most puppets are
Fortunate.
like kind of the same size, right?
You know, I was just saying I hope they get really creative with it. I hope I'm a man.
I'm realizing now I've never seen a puppet show.
Well, you're about to see one.
I bet it'll be 2 puppets in a trench coat, Keo.
Oh, I hope so. All right. So with that, you all settle into your seats, and you can see there is a gentleman that comes out, happy to be here, but you can tell that an artist of his caliber, as all of you recognize William Bosserman, definitely writing
That's
puppet
amazing.
shows is not what he wants to do in his spare time, but this was
Good
one
commission.
he couldn't deny. Yeah. As he says, "Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure to introduce to all of you the story of the wanderers of the Salamander Coast. As a puppet show." Yeah. Yes, there's so many little kids. Hello there. Hi. So,
Do we? I don't want to interrupt, but like, where are we sitting? Are we sitting somewhere where this crowd of children is gonna pick up on the fact that we're in the show?
oh, for sure.
We're in the fucking front seat, dude. The children behind us can't.
Can you imagine? We just show up for our own biopic? Like, yeah, go ahead.
Ajax is the person that like sits in front of you that's way too fucking tall. And you're like, I can't see the movie now. This is absolutely horrible. Now we're in the back.
All right, cool. So, you sit down, and with that, William Bosserman says, "So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the tale of the wanderers of the Salamander Coast." And he gestures his hands out, and you can see this large puppet box. The curtain begins to open, and you can see this idyllic mountain town begin to come into view with all of these mountain pathways that lead up to it. And you can see the collection of heroes beginning their journey. You can see one house sort of comes in, it like slides in, and you can see it's a little apothecary where you can see a tiefling woman with a mortar and pestle, but she's a puppet, so her hands are
Bianca
going
whispers
like this.
to everyone, "Oh my gosh, that's me! That's mine!"
Yeah, wait, I know.
Okay.
Shh. Quiet.
You can see her, grinding away at the mortar and pestle, and you can hear a voice from the background, which is William Bosserman's reading off a script, as he says, "First, we stumble upon the warrior, not at the time, apothecary at the time, Bianca Dusong. Now, Bianca liked to live a quiet and calm life within the town of Summer's Rest, having left from far away," as you hear the puppet go, "I very much do miss home in Belka, but very good, I'm happy to be on my own. But
That
I
sounds
sure would
nothing.
love to go on an adventure."
It's kind of how you sounded at the beginning.
Really?
Yeah, you got tougher.
Bianca, of course, knew that this was somewhat of a monkey's paw. She had no way of knowing at the time, but did she misunderstand what adventure she would go on? However, this is not the only hero of our story, as three mischievous individuals from the town of Water's Wake got their start on the wrong side of town. As you see in a cart, tracking up the side of the mountain, you see these four puppets all facing the same way in the prison cart as they're tracking up the mountainside. Yes, that's right. 3 of the wanderers got their start in a prison cart. As they're trekking up, as you can see this blonde-haired, like Raggedy Ann looking doll as Cecily say, "I don't want to be here." And you can
She's
see
appalled.
Accurate.
The
Accurate.
Dragonborn Suni go, "I don't want you to be here either."
Also
then
accurate.
You see the blue-haired Genasi Poe go, "Guys!" They're like tracking up and down the cart. And you can see the 4th individual, a man with like blood on his face, like jelly, I guess, on his face, says, "I'm very happy you're here."
Oh, God.
Kids are like, "Who's that guy?" One very weird kid is like, "That's the Red Skinner. You don't know about him. I read about him."
Ajax is also like,
Who is that guy?
The cannibal.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that.
Now, of course, within the cities of Summer's Rest, these 5 individuals, in addition to a monk traveling through far-off realms, would work together to try and earn their freedom. As, there's nothing happens. Yeah, okay, vomit. Yep, sure, got it. Okay. You know. That wasn't William Bosserman, that's me. And eventually they do. Through trials and tribulations, together they earn their freedom. And they decide it's in their best interest to stick together. They depart the city of Summer's Rest, heading for grander adventures. But sadly, they had no way of knowing that from the mysterious Daku, that things would take a turn for the worst.
Oh.
You can see the story continues to unfold as they go through the ruins of the Kalukatho grave, the meeting of the Bloody Brotherhood, and the meeting of Keothi. You also go through the book about going to the end of time and seeing what reality would become, the need to journey to Fjardaland to access that Temple of Time, to prevent what happens in Brahmsgrave. And at a certain point, there is the departure of Poe as the puppet Poe says, "I'm sorry, guys. I just have to go, but I promise this will be the last time." And everybody at the same time looks to the audience and goes, "Yeah, sure it is." As the puppet Poe hugs everyone. There you go, like that. There you go, like a puppet. The 2 puppets hiss. Not yet. That's later. And their journey continues. Down one team member, trapped within the forests of the fractured peninsula. Things were bad, but were only going to get worse. On their travels, they heard the screams of beasts within the wood, that of the Banshee. But luckily for them, they were not alone, for there were 2 that joined their cause. As you can see, riding on a horse, you can see the 2 twins, Morwen and Carasilla Dulski. As Morwen, you can see they gave Morwen's puppet just downward pointing eyebrows, very focused, just and you can see they gave Carasilla's like upward pointing eyebrows. As you hear Morwen's puppet go, "We need to get to safety, Carasilla." And Carasilla goes, "But with a song in your heart, we can be anywhere we want." Keothi leans over. "Well, that's a bit of an oversimplification of her character, don't you think?"
No, she did say that.
Oh.
Multiple
All I've
times.
said so far is I don't want to be here.
I haven't said anything.
Cecily, that's what you said for up until we went to the past. Future or past?
It's all the same.
I wonder how they're going to get through that.
The story continues. As
They might skip that part.
They unite.
They might skip that part.
They hear about the tale of Odin and claiming to be Cecily's father. You can see Odin kind of walks by at that point, like side eyes, and keeps going.
Morwen awkwardly avoids his gaze.
Yeah. Cecily's definitely going to look over and do a point at the puppet show as he's going by. Remember that?
Sorry. And the puppet show continues. This is a long puppet show. You realize this is a very long adventure. But the kids are enthralled. They're loving it. They go through the heist of Brahmsgrave, preventing that heist. And then we dive into the Book of the Old Kingdom. We talk about Issen and fight against them, the initial battle in Periton, and the meeting of Ajax. And as we get to that point, you can see that Morwen has to leave. She departs, saying to Carasilla and to the party, "I promise one day I'll be back, and that's a promise I intend to keep." Morwen's puppet looks out to the audience and rides off. And you hear all the puppets. You hear Cecily go, "Well, what are we gonna do now?" We need somebody else to join us, don't we? Suni goes, we got it. Carasilla goes, well, hopefully they sing. And Bianca goes, I knew somebody that I grew up with. But that was around in Belka. If only they were here. And you hear,
Sound like that though, right? Like
it's too much now.
No,
now it's too much.
It's
Just
a little
enjoy
much.
the show.
you hear,
I think I'm coming here.
you hear from off stage. And everyone goes, oh no, it's a lion. Weapons ready, everyone. And there you see, coming onto screen, riding a Johnny, which you recognize, Ajax, your horse, you remember?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't.
Oh, fuck, what happened to that guy?
Still in paradise, I guess.
Just left him in the stables or what? Like,
you see,
what happened?
you see Ajax. You can see his puppet is very accurate. It even has the scar. It has the great sword. Like the armor is all the same. And you hear the puppet. Hello there. I am Ajax. I was captain of the guard in Belka, and I am here to aid you on your journey. Bianca, your parents sent word they were worried of you. It is my only charge to protect you and inform you of something. Bianca, and you see the puppet dismounts the horse. His like hair flips over. This kind of like Muppet walks over to Bianca. Bianca, you are a queen.
Huh? Oh my god.
Yes. You see the conversation continue there. Bianca's a queen, and they need to do what they can to save the old kingdom from her corrupted grandmother. All the kids go, oh, I heard about this part. I heard about this part. Shut up. That's how the kids are like getting very antsy now, but they're locked back in. The story continues. And there's this side quest to the Mazrim Mountains after the siege of Paradin and the death of Quixote. As Quixote goes, oh, that's right, I forgot, I died.
Don't remind me.
And you hear about the death of Baldur and the beginning of Fimbulwinter, which really was the beginning of the end, truthfully. Some of the kids are like, seems like a lot for like a side quest, don't you think?
A lot.
The kid's like, nah, it's fun. It was fun. Shut up. We had a good time.
all of the Salamander Coast peeps in the back just reliving trauma, just like, oh, I forgot about that.
At least the kids are having fun.
Right.
And from there, you see they cover the entire stage in thick mounds of snow as you see these individuals. They come out with like swords using dancing light to create the mimic the moon rays. As they sort of walk around, they swing the blades around, causing fighting demons. And you can see the companions coming in, and they're fighting as puppets against against all the demons. And eventually they break down the doors of Damara's Keep and they slay Ivana, who you can see has this, for some reason, incredibly thick Russian accent. Nobody ever heard Ivana speak except for you guys. So she goes, "You cannot defeat me, my granddaughter." William Boston.
Did she used to speak that way?
No. It's okay, the Damaris adaptation's not great.
Honestly, I like it this way.
Shame, the voices have been so on point up to this moment.
On point!
You hear Bianca go,
I would disagree.
"Grandmother, I have had a great change that I've experienced. I've learned about my kingdom and learned about myself. And
Your voice dropped.
I will let you... I will let you destroy this kingdom." And he...
He's getting higher.
"William, can I cut the voice?" "No, it's what she sounds like."
It's like
you
that.
can see the puppet just flings at Ivana.
Right then you did.
Yeah, that was like, I guess that was like 2 years ago plus. Never mind.
And with that, we begin to move to the very end of the story as the party ends up sailing on these magical waves in the air, and they arrive in the brilliant home home of Adarashi, bouncing back and forth between the islands of Shiroi, Obokami, and Akai, saving the people there, and you witness the ascension of Suna. But eventually, the breaking takes place. You can see a battle against the Dark One, and the Forsaken, and Ravenhunt, and Glacia. And you can see Glacia throws down her weapons and refuses to fight any longer, but Ravenhunt is slain. The Forsaken are defeated, except one that escapes. And the Dark One is destroyed, leaving a question in the air as William Bosserman goes into narration. With the Dark One defeated, what possible enemy could remain? I'll tell you. The shadow itself. As giant vortexes begin to swirl down from the clouds, as all of the companions look up in fear and abject horror as the world begins to unravel, you can see that the set pieces have slowly been changing from stone and wood and cardboard, and magical apparitions to made of yarn and felt. As you can see, as the tornadoes begin to whirl around, they begin to pull the felt as buildings and objects begin to unravel in the puppet show. As the parties, they fight tooth and nail to preserve what places they can, to save what homes and cities they can, and eventually arriving victorious as this large, black, undulating blob of shadow and evil attempts to suffocate the heroes. And even in that moment of defeat, it is almost there. You can see this brilliant light emanates as Carasilla's puppet explodes in this beautiful display of color and flame. The darkness cries out and burns away, and Carasilla's puppet is no more. And there's silence that fills the small amphitheater you all sit in, as you hear the puppeteer for Carasilla begin to hum this very light melody. And you hear all the party members up on stage begin to hum the exact same melody. And all the kids in the audience, they begin to hum along the melody as well. And although the puppet show has been quite farcical and true in spirit, but not in fact, this one moment at the end solidifies that Carasilla's still here, even if it doesn't feel like it, even if she's not physically here. Her song is. She is. The puppet show ends, the actors come out. They have a little meet and greet with the large audience of kids that are there as they hold up the puppets, and it's strange. The kids are almost more excited to meet the puppets than they are to meet all of you. Sometimes it's tough, you know? Ajax, there's a kid who runs past you and says, "Oh, I like your costume. The scar's on the wrong side, though," as he runs past.
Classic. 10 out of 10 reference.
It's not a costume.
You know, I felt like they skipped a few things at the end there, but I guess from like a play perspective, we did just kind of sit around for 2 years. I don't know what I would write for that part either.
Do I look like I'm wearing a costume?
Very much so.
I'm still
I mean,
hung
if
up on
you-
the voice.
It's okay. I take back everything I said. They kept going, and it was a lot. And Ajax, it only looks like a costume if you've never seen a Leonin before. Because I'll be honest, when I first saw you, I was like, that's too much hair. But that was just me being young and stupid.
Oh man.
No, it's not on you. It's on the world. There needs to be more Leonins and BD. I don't know.
Lack of representation.
Yeah.
Joe, was the moment where Odin mind wiped or whatever that spell is, Suni, in the play?
It's a little dark.
I mean, no one knows that
imagine
happened,
no.
do they?
I don't know.
Even Suni doesn't know it happened.
I know. I just need God, because it just never got brought up, and it was so random.
It was incredibly dark, but then I don't even think, because Cecily didn't say anything about it when she confronted him, because she didn't know what happened.
Yeah, I think the only person who does is Odin, which is why it would be so funny if it was in the puppet show.
Right. He has a writing
Soon he
credit.
gets bullied and then his mind erased.
I don't. William
Oh,
Wasserman
God.
reached out to a lot of people for the events of the store. He even did reach out to some of you for details about things.
And we didn't respond.
Odin didn't respond.
Odin refused comment.
I need to distance myself from this.
Man.
There's no coming out the good guy.
That was fun. I'm going to go check out the, was it a fighting pit? Or some sort of, I'm going to go where the fighting is.
Yeah, have fun. If I can talk Poe into it, we'll do a fight there too.
Morwen, Suni,
I'm always in.
I'll pass. I have Dorian, and there's still some people I need to talk to.
all right. Sorry, Bianca, did you want?
No,
did you
I'm
want-
good. But thank
I know
you.
that fighting pits are not really your thing, so.
Not my
Well, do you
favorite.
want to go talk to Hubert? Because I want to go see
Okay.
Hubert.
Yes,
I
I
wanna
should
see
play some Kingdoms and Castles with Hubert.
Suni, you gotta pick this thing.
I know. I want to do fighting pits, but I do want to see Hubert. It's so sad.
Well, how?
Why
No,
n-
you.
Why not do both?
Because I said he has to decide.
Oh,
And Cecily makes all my decisions for me.
Mm-hmm. Touch your toes.
well,
Ajax looks to Suni.
choose.
I want to go to the fighting pit.
All right, go ahead.
Tell Hubert I said
Alright.
hi.
I'm sure you guys will run into each other.
Yeah, you got time.
And he looks at the ground.
No.
So, Morwen, you head off to talk to a few people. Ajax and Suni, you head off to the fighting pits, and Bianca and Cecily, you head off to find Hubert. We're going to take a quick break there because I want to refill my water before we get into any more talking. And we'll be back in, let's say, 10 minutes, so 55.
Cool.
55? Okay, cool. Thanks for watching so far, everybody, and we will be right back.
To finish the story.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard? Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is done so well. But here's the thing. It grows to be more in depth. The spirit world becomes a thing, and it grows even more in depth after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They're not all underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong. And not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start. They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No! Stop! You don't need that. What you need is one town, one place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay. I'd hope you get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Holy! Look at all this damage!
Where? Where?
Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I. I believe that until proven guilty, every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent.
Now is left to me to deal with him. You can't.
If you try to interfere,
This becomes a much simpler matter. I will kill your wife. I will kill your son. I will kill your infant daughter.
But for now, we're going to look at a slightly different system that doesn't just affect the moment of death, but the moments before death. Something that makes combat more grounded, horror more horrifying, and sacrifices all the more heroic. Picture a movie fight scene between a hero and villain. They're clashing blades, dancing back and forth, parrying, dodging, blocking, keeping up with each other's advances, surprising each other with new techniques and strategies, until finally, one of them lands a devastating blow. It's not just a graze on the arm, it's not just a smack on the chest. It's 0 HP. When using the point of no return system, we want to draw attention to this moment of the fight, to make that hit extra cinematic and weighted and affect the decisions that your players are going to make when they are given that critical choice of staying down or getting up.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
So with that, let's go ahead and dive into our first build, the level 5, Blighted Warden. In the shadowed underbrush of the ancient forest, where the line between decay and growth blurs, the Blighted Warden moves unseen. A spectral guardian at the crossroads of life and death, melding the Gloomstalker's mastery of darkness with the Circle of Spores' eerie command over fungal life. They are the embodiment of nature's unchecked, wild ferocity. With each arrow knocked from their twisted, spore-infested bow, they strike with the precision of night and the inevitable spread of decay. A silent protector of the natural order's darker, untamed side. So there we go. There's our thematic intro.
I have to finish the story.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard? Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is done so well. But here's the thing. It grows to be more in depth. The spirit world becomes a thing, and it grows even more in depth after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They're not all underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong. And not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start.
They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No! Stop! You don't need that. What you need is one town, one place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I could guarantee Henry would be okay, I'd hope you get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Holy, look at all this damage!
Where? Where?
Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I. I believe that until proven guilty, every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent.
Now it's left to me to deal with him. You can't. If you try to interfere, this becomes a much simpler matter. I will kill your wife. I will kill your son. I will kill your infant daughter.
But for now, we're going to look at a slightly different system that doesn't just affect the moment of death, but the moments before death. Something that makes combat more grounded, horror more horrifying, and sacrifices all the more heroic. Picture a movie fight scene between a hero and villain. They're clashing blades, dancing back and forth, parrying, dodging, blocking, keeping up with each other's advances, surprising each other with new techniques and strategies, until finally, one of them lands a devastating blow. It's not just a graze on the arm, it's not just a smack on the chest. It's 0 HP. When using the point of no return system, we want to draw attention to this moment of the fight, to make that hit extra cinematic and weighted and affect the decisions that your players are going to make when they are given that critical choice of staying down or getting up.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
So with that, let's go ahead and dive into our first build, the level 5, Blighted Warden. In the shadowed underbrush of the ancient forest, where the line between decay and growth blurs, the Blighted Warden moves unseen. A spectral guardian at the crossroads of life and death, melding the Gloomstalker's mastery of darkness with the Circle of Spores' eerie command over fungal life. They are the embodiment of nature's unchecked,
wild ferocity. With each arrow knocked from their twisted, spore-infested bow, they strike with the precision of night and the inevitable spread of decay. A silent protector of the natural order's darker, untamed side.
So there we go. There's our thematic intro.
I have to finish the story.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard? Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is done so well. But here's the thing. It grows to be more in depth. The spirit world becomes a thing, and it grows even more in depth after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They're not all underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong. And not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start. They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No! Stop! You don't need that. What you need is one town, one place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay. I'd hope you get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10, rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Holy, look at all this damage!
Where?
Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know.
Drug. This is my hallucination.
And we're back.
Drugs and drugs.
A little bit of a thing here at the beginning. If you happen to hear barking through my microphone, we have a puppy. She's in the crate. I promise we're not doing an animal abuse. She's crate training.
Doing an animal abuse.
Yeah, it is. And she's just very upset about it. She's a little diva. That's okay. Still love her. So let's go ahead and dive back into the session. I have too much empathy for things. It's hard.
No, abuse your dog now.
So let's go ahead and dive back in. Picking up where we left off, we had just been introduced into the festival. They had watched a puppet show retelling the adventure that they went on, and it was accurate enough. There were some liberties taken, but, in all fairness to William Bosserman, he was a little bit less involved in your guys' adventure than in anything else, but still very thankful for all of you, and happy to do it, even though if he's not really a puppet show kind of guy. So, with that, you all go your separate ways for just a moment. Mormon, you head off to talk to some individuals. Cecily and Bianca, you head off to talk to Hubert individually, or specifically. And then Ajax and Suni, you head off to the sparring pits to test your mettle there. So Ajax and Suni, as you approach and as you get there, you actually see that there are the two people that are running this. So it's kind of being run by three different people, and the one that you end up going to are the people that you know, which is Thrud and Odin. You can see Thrud and Odin using their magic combined. They're like conjuring echoes of old heroes, or even all of you, so these fighters can come and they can challenge all of you. Like, they can pay a small amount of money, which all this money that's being spent here is being put towards, rebuilding areas of less affluent, individuals and places, so they can have the money to do that, to buy those supplies. It's not just for Odin, that'd be crazy. They're doing it so they can battle people. So you see Ajax and Suni, as the two of you approach, that there are people that are like lined up to fight Ajax or Suni, this like echo of you. Odin and Thrud see you arrive. They both wave you down, and Thrud looks at the two of you and says, "So, what, come to challenge yourself, or did you want to step into the ring with somebody else?"
What are the options?
Well, you can either fight yourself or somebody else, or you can step into the ring with somebody who's here. If they're looking to fight Ajax or Suni, well, what better than the real thing?
What do you think, Suni?
Are these like one-on-one fights, or do they do like?
They do duos.
2-on-2?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You want to show them who's boss?
Kind of. But we have to take it easy on whoever we fight.
Okay, I won't turn into a dragon.
That's just not fair.
It's not fair to repress who I am. This is mean.
We are not repressing who you are, Suni. We love who you are.
I know.
We are just giving them a fair chance.
He rolls his eyes, but smiles and will agree.
What if we... I am kind of curious how grand that Odin's magic is. What if we fought ourselves to begin with, just to see how good he is at magic?
I'm also into that idea.
I'd really like to tell Cecily that she's much better at magic than Odin.
I'm willing to bet she is.
Looks over to Thrud and Odin.
I think we'll like to fight ourselves. And then the two of us would like to fight two other individuals, should they want.
We might just scare them off.
All right.
If you turn into a dragon.
If that's what you want to do.
Has anyone beat us yet?
No.
Sorry, I'm becoming very prideful right now. I need to humble myself by fighting myself.
All right. Well, let's see if you're up to it. And with that, the two of you enter the ring, and you can see there's this uproar of people that sort of cheer, "Woo-hoo, yeah, Ajax, Suni!" And then as the echoes appear of Ajax and Suni, another half of the crowd goes, "Yeah, Ajax, Suni!" cheering on the echoes. Because if you guys can't beat the echoes, then, well, you've lost your edge since the final battle. So, with that, Ajax and Suni, you charge at Ajax and Suni. Who's taking who?
I'm taking Ajax.
Okay, all right. Suni, going after Suni?
You know it.
Okay, all right. Sounds good.
Lightsaber battle.
Yeah. Ajax, you and Spirit Ajax, like slamming shields, parrying blows, riposting. It is it's a very intense duel. A lot of back and forth, but
I'd like to point out
yeah,
that Ajax no longer has a spear.
oh, that's right. Yeah.
He's just Shield Jax.
Yeah, giving him the Captain-less Leia, I see. So yeah, shield bashing. You can see that you're fighting with the shield, but the Echo is fighting with the spear, because that's what, everybody knows is the spear and shield Ajax. So you're like deflecting with the shield, slamming into the chest of Ajax, trying to disarm and parry. Sunni, both of them are flipping around, sort of floating, using their breath attack to fly up in the air, parry, deflect, throw the blades, working together. But of course, parrying all those blows, but eventually they're an echo of you. They don't stand up to the version. And eventually you defeat them. So Ajax, how do you defeat yourself? And Sunni, how do you defeat yourself?
So Ajax knows that he has a weak Achilles tendon. So he he gets behind Echo Ajax and throws the shield at the tendon and brings Ajax down to the ground. And in the moment, Ajax is just, it's very odd and weird. No, it's the right one. I 100% know. And there's like a slight pause as Ajax is about to hit himself. But then it's cathartic as he just like slams the shield into the back of Ajax's neck and I guess breaks his neck.
Yeah. And the Echo sort of dissolves. Sunni?
I feel like after that last slam that Ajax does, Sunni will do like a flip and like land like feet onto Ajax's shield and have him propel him, and he'll do like a little spinny stab into Shadow Sunni or Echo Sunni or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, as the flurry of blows continues and eventually stops as you deliver that final blow, you can see that the Echo of Sunni also is dispelled as half the audience goes, yeah, Ajax Sunni, and some of the people that were elsewhere in the other half of the crowd go, yeah, Ajax Sunni, and they're still cheering for the same people. Okay, and you can see that Thrud says, so, anybody want to fight the real thing? And everybody just kind of looks around. As you know what,
I'll fight with my eyes closed.
You can see
Ajax laughs at Sunni saying that, knowing that Sunni can see with his eyes closed.
You can see coming from the edge of the
Sluro Cullen.
The edge of the arena, you see a blue-skinned Water Genasi throw up his hand and say, yeah, I think I will. And I've got
Jax under his breath goes,
shit.
And you know who I've got as backup for me?
Please don't say Alec.
My great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-granddaughter. Alec is standing there.
Ajax slowly looks at Sunni.
Well, this is what we get for being so prideful.
Oh, we can do this.
Yeah. Yeah, we can.
And fucking fight stance.
Yep. Alec is just here to have fun. She walks in, smile on her face, and she looks to Thrud and Odin. This is not to the death, is it? It would be a shame to have to slaughter such valiant allies. Thrud goes, what? Gods, no, not to the death, Alec. Oh, good.
Oh, like you could even get close.
You can see.
Yeah.
Alec.
Ajax agreed with Sunni and then realized, yeah, okay. Why did I do that?
Alec has like an 80-foot movement speed.
What did you say?
Oh, I said you couldn't even get close.
Poe, take Ajax. The dragon is mine. As Alec uses her speedster power to dart her like step of the wind dash monk movement speed. It's like 250 feet in 6 seconds.
All right, I would like to say
Yeah.
that Ajax and Suni have practiced fucking combo moves and all kinds of shit.
I hear you. You think that I would in your final session I would have you guys lose to two former player characters? That'd be so lame.
Well, I just want to say one of the things that happens is Suni throws a saber and it fucking bounces off the shield and goes at full velocity at somebody. That's the one thing that happens.
Oh, can we also, like, you know when Iron Man shoots the blast at Captain America's shield and it goes everywhere? So he, like, breathes lightning and it just, like, spreads off all over the shield.
Turn it into chain lightning by shooting it off my shield. That happens too.
Hell yeah. And that is actually the two moves that you use to defeat Poe and Alec, or at least get them into a bit of a submission. As you can see, Suni, you're holding your own against Alec. She's very strong and very fast, but with your blind sight, you can sort of anticipate some of those movements. And this isn't an overwhelming defeat, I'll add. This is you guys have been fighting together for a long time, and Alec and Poe have not been fighting together for just as long. Now, if Poe and Varnast were here, that's a coin toss, but no, if Alec and Varnast were here, that's a coin toss. They've been fighting together for a long time, but with Poe and Alec, Suni, you know some of Poe's weak spots too. So the two of you are able to do that, where you can see Alec is so focused on you, Suni, she's not even worried about Ajax, she's locked in on you. And in that moment, you throw the lightsaber, sorry, Disney. You throw the moonblade past her, it swings around her head, and she says, "You missed." As the shield deflects off Ajax, and as it swings like around, it hits Poe. And granted, the weapons that they conjured like these fields around your weapon, so they don't deal any lethal damage. They just kind of stun. It hits Poe like in the back of the neck and kind of sends him down to the ground. As Ajax, you kind of put your foot on top of him so he doesn't get up. And Suni, the moonblade comes back to you. Yeah, but what do you retort?
You can't put me on the spot like that, man. No, I don't.
Suni just stares her down, devious smile on his face, and you can see as Alec raises up the great sword to try and slam it down towards Suni with like an overwhelming weight. You can see you dodge roll out of the way. Ajax, you close in, you hold up the shield, and Suni, as you breathe the lightning breath onto the shield, you can see that it redirects off the shield, and the shield amplifies it. So it's like this golden divine lightning that sort of traps Alec and like stun locks her, and she drops the sword and drops to the ground as she eventually taps to yield. As she stands up, she looks to the two of you, and she says, "You two are both very good warriors. I haven't felt that much of a rush since I devoured Korvac's heart some years ago."
That's the biggest compliment anyone's ever given me, I think.
It is. Anyway, have a great rest of your night. You all have deserved it.
Yeah.
And should you find yourselves in a fair ever, know that every hospitality will be offered to you.
Thank you, Alec.
Thank you.
It was good to see you again.
You as well.
And what a great challenge.
Yes.
And then Suni's gonna motion to chest bump with Ajax.
Yes, he waits until they're walking away, and then
And Suni probably, like, gets knocked over, I'm sure.
The two of you, end up chest bumping over Poe, because he still hasn't gotten up. And Poe kind of rolls around. That was unnecessary.
Oh, sorry. And
Ajax helps him up. Can also, just for humor's sake, at the very beginning of the fight, the way that Ajax caught Poe off guard, Is he goes,
Look, Cecily.
Huh?
and then,
Oh, no.
and then no fight.
Dirty. Poe stands up and he kind of holsters the hammer and sheaths the sword. All right. You guys are good. But Suni, if it was me and you one-on-one...
Soon you would win.
Suni would win. Yeah. I mean, he can turn into a dragon. It's kind of unfair, you know?
It's no offense. Just
No, I know. But know this. If I catch you on the street, Suni, it's done. All right? He slowly walks away.
Suni will rush up and give him a hug before.
Yeah, he'll hug you back.
He can run.
Soon he comes back. Ajax
goes, what does that mean?
You know, with Poe, it's hard telling. I think that was a threat, but he's too precious to take seriously.
But you are on the street, so he is seeing you on the street. I don't get the metaphor.
Suni, as you're about to talk, sucked up in this conversation, you feel someone tackle you from behind, knocking you to the ground as you hear Poe tackle as the two of you kind of wrestle with each other for a moment. As Ajax, you can try and separate them, like cats, you know, pick them up by the scruff of the neck, or you can let them play. It's up to you.
Ajax sees it and goes,
I'll find the others. See you later, Suni.
See ya.
Rolling around. All right. So Ajax, you depart, and Suni, you wrestle with Poe, and you win. The tail, man. The tail really does a number. It's that fifth appendage. It really does wonders. So with that, we'll go ahead and go to Morwen. Morwen, was there anybody in particular you were looking to talk to?
Yeah. She's looking for Alton.
Okay. Yeah. Easy enough. You can find him. He's not in like low spirits necessarily. He's enjoying what he can, but you can see he's hanging out a lot around the musicians that are here playing various pieces. Just sort of tapping his foot and bopping his head to the music.
I mean, have they met like once or twice?
Oh, over the 2 years of downtime for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just saying nothing and still holding Dorian, Morwen's just gonna go and sit next to him.
Morwen, hello. Hello, Dorian. As he kind of like makes a little wave to him.
How are you doing?
Probably as good as you and the rest of the Wanderers are. There is a lot to be thankful for right now, but these musicians are good, but none of them as good as her.
No one was. You, make this hard, I see. Alright. We haven't gotten much opportunity to talk, you and I. You came to the wedding, which was kind. She talked about you. My sister loved deeply and dearly. While I do not know you, knowing that you meant so much to her. You must have been very important to her.
She was very important to me. She helped me see things, see the world in a different light that I don't think I would have seen otherwise. The Underdark is a cruel place. We don't have music like this. There's not even a love for... There's not even a word for love in Undercommon. But it was something she helped me discover. Even though it was brief in the grand scheme of everything, I'm still so thankful to have known her. And at least... she's not entirely gone. Between the song, I keep hearing this song. And you... Dorian? I think it all has a part of her in it. You know?
You know, she hated when people weren't having a good time. Saw her pull up so many people sitting by themselves who probably just wanted to be left alone, and she could always get them to dance.
She taught me how to dance, you know?
Did she?
She did. It's the only reason why I'm even kind of good at it.
He was a good teacher.
It was a lot of good things. A lot of great things.
With her one free hand that's not holding Dorian, Lauren will reach out and take his.
Yeah. Oh. Grab him, squeeze it, and look up to the musicians as they play their song. A happy song. Not knowing any concept of an idea of what conversation is unfolding in front of them. And if there's nothing else, he'll just kind of sit there and listen to the song with you. And he'll probably get up and follow you around for much of the rest of the festival, just so he's not alone.
Okay. Sounds good.
Right. So the two of you get up and continue into the rest of the festivities. Bianca and Cecily, two of you make your way, and you can see that, sponsored by the Lady of Talamir, Lady Twig Forrester, there is very purposefully a Kingdoms and Castle tournament happening here. It is a very small one, but still an area where people can play Kingdoms and Castles, and you can see the banners of House Forrester decorated in this area, as you all have heard over the past 3 months that on top of rebuilding Talamir, Twig has spent a lot of time ensuring the continuation of Kingdoms and Castles in the world.
Good.
And Bianca, it's your thing.
Well, it's one of them.
And also, real quick,
it's your leisure thing.
You Furby for the 5 subs. That's very, very kind of you. Very, very nice. And we're there, and all of us are very thankful that you've been here for so much of it, even if you haven't participated in the chat. It's so great to have you here now. So thank you. I didn't want to ignore that, but that was a really emotional moment. So thank you. So, Bianca, Cecily, you see the Kingdoms and Castles, and there you see Hubert Chelster, currently analyzing his deck. As he, the turtle sort of looks up and says, "Oh, Cecily, Bianca, it's so good to see you again."
Holy shit! If it's not Hubert the Shell, and she's gonna come running straight up to him.
Yeah.
Can she even? She's probably touching the sides of the shell for a hug. I think she's not much wingspan, but
you can see he's got a little bow tie on.
Bianca will follow up and like hug them both at the same time, kind of thing.
Oh, so good to see both of you. I never got to see all of you when you were in Summer's Rest, but thank you. You saved us. And, well, it would have been a shame to lose all the Kingdoms and Castles cards.
You know what? That would have been quite the shame.
That's the
we were
joke
thinking
I
about
say.
a lot of things. But we were thinking about you too.
Yeah, because there could have been a lot of other things that were lost too, but I thought the Kingdoms and Castles card thing was funny, and which is why I bring it up whenever I talk. Yeah,
I agree. I will say though, last we talked, which I understand was years ago, I was like a dirty little child back then.
You weren't that dirty.
Oh well, thank you. I guess. I'm a little better now. I went to it like a tooth person back when my dad took me back home, and like we had to pull some teeth. Like some of them were like black. I was dirty, dude. Anyway, the book you were writing—that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah. I've been working on it for a while. I know that you all have been sending me missives when you could about the adventures you've been on. But yeah, I've been working on it.
Well, I hope it keeps going good for you. You know, I definitely didn't want to lose that in the middle of everything.
No, I didn't either. In fact, I think I have a little bit of it here. If you want to hear a part of it.
Oh yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, let's see how we're portrayed in this one, Bianca.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
All right. Here we go. Secrets of Summer's Rest. Prologue. Entering darkness. The only thing I won't keep going.
I'm like, are you gonna read it?
As I read through 12 chapters.
Yeah. You know that Rick and Morty scene? Cut to 3 days earlier. He's just dying.
Oh man. Okay. So he reads a small portion of it, and he reads a couple of parts about Suni and Poe and Cecily and Bianca and the interactions all of you had. You can see he's changed and edited some events, but the core of the characters are maintained, and you can see he put a lot of love into it, a lot of love and a lot of passion. Where Hubert very obviously has never been very good with words and with speaking. He's a bit of an awkward turtle, I think, as most are. But he put a lot of care into this, and you can see as he sort of finishes reading some of the parts, as the two of you have varied reactions. He gets a lot of joy from seeing your reactions, and you can see his passion sort of grow as he explains other parts of it, and says, "But that's all I have right now. And over time, I'd like to release more and more and more. And well, I don't know. Maybe after finishing your story, I'll start writing my own." Not my story, but made up ones, you know?
Yeah. No, you definitely should. This is incredible. Just the writing itself. You've given a lot of love to this. So thank you for choosing us. That's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. Well, you guys are pretty freaking cool, so it was really easy.
I would love to play another game of Kingdoms and Castles. It's been a little while for me, so I'm probably out of practice now.
Oh, Bianca, you are speaking my language.
As he begins to shuffle the cards.
I love him. I guess the last time Bianca did go to the tournament Twig held, right? So I guess that was the last time Bianca played. She was more cash about it than Twig.
I'll cheer you on if you win.
Only if I win?
Yeah, remember those are the rules.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Bianca, you should know that a couple of new cards have come out since last you played, so I'll go easy on you, but just remember, you're gonna have to keep your deck updated if you want to have a fighting chance from here on out, okay?
Oh, all right. I mean, I guess the Bella Clara deck that I have is completely irrelevant at this point, but that's all I got.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I guess that would have been
Hey.
from about 3 years ago. Here, why don't you use one of mine?
Please? Because, yeah, in my defense, the world was ending.
Well, not the whole time, though. I mean,
A lot of the time.
Listen, it was a busy 2 years, okay? I was
Yeah.
making up for a lot of lost time.
People had to go do things. The
Yeah.
kingdom was falling apart and not at the same. Oh, gosh. Yeah.
all right, different priorities for different people, I understand.
And he sets the deck across from you.
As it's a, you can see it's a wild waste
I
deck.
didn't think this was a negative in prioritizing my people, but it's fine.
Some people.
Which deck did he give her?
The wild waste, so it's the Cowboys.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go.
So yeah, you and Hubert play. You play 3 games. Hubert does win the first one. However, through a really good draw of cards, Bianca, you end up winning the second one. And for the third one, we'll leave it up to a coin toss. So go ahead and roll a d4. If it's even, Bianca will win. If it's odd, Hubert will win.
Cecily is cheering you on as a cowboy.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's just like her, but as a cowboy. She looks like Heath Ledger in Brokeback Mountain.
That's very specific.
That's mint. Okay, awesome. So,
Well, Heath Ledger looks like Cecily. So.
That's true, yeah. Which means that all I can picture now retrospectively is Heath Ledger and A Knight's Tale, and that's who's been adventuring with the party this whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. Just femme Heath Ledger from A Knight's Tale. That's...
I love that.
Yep.
But Bianca, not through pure luck and chance, through a masterful strategy of deceit and cunning, you defeat Hubert Shelster in a duel to the metaphorical death of your kingdoms. And the wild waste comes out on top of the Gemstone Archipelago. As Hubert says, "No! No!
Well. Looks like my real life experience helped out here.
Good shooting, outlaw.
Oh.
It's okay, Hubert. You did really well, and honestly, you built
No.
this deck that I use, so probably it was just your skill that I just got to, reap the benefits from.
I mean, you're totally right, but don't patronize me. We'll have a rematch eventually.
We'll have a rematch when I have a proper deck made by myself, and then it's actually even,
All right. I agree. You were borrowing some of my brain power, so very well. I'll admit to a draw as he takes the deck back.
Oh, that's not. Sure.
That's what you just said.
I don't know if that's what I said, but yeah. A draw.
He stucks the cards back into the deck box.
I love him. I mean, Bianca will keep hanging out with him, talking strategy, talking the game, see what tips he has for her.
Yeah, so a couple of mistakes that you made, which rookie mistakes, I personally wouldn't have made them. Maybe I shouldn't have gone easy on you. I did kind of let you win in that last one. Sorry, Hubert's turning into Donald Trump right now, and that's not the intention.
I was just about to say.
No, I was
Rookie
going to say,
mistake.
this is every man that I've ever won a game against, except for the ones in this chat, probably.
Well, if there was winning in D&D, you'd see a very different side of some of us, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah. I would
Very
kick you out a year and a half ago,
competitive,
Felicity. You're not going to beat me.
I'm a man!
How Bessie is going to get up and just say,
Bessie.
all right, well, if you're going to start talking shop, it's time for me to get down to the water hole. Where's that boy Poe? Where he going down to the fighting ring? And she's just going to walk away with her pants hoisted.
Romance at its finest.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as you sort of stay there for a moment, Bianca, Cecily, as you're on your way to talk to Poe, one by one, there is an individual that approaches each one of you. Ajax finding you, Suni as you're fighting with Poe in the pit, the two of you just kind of messing around. Morwen and Alton find you as well. And like I said, Cecily and Bianca, you can see it's an Arcan man. You can see the tall, slender form, standing about 6.5 feet tall. You can see the sort of arch-bowed legs, the chitinous skin.
And you can see that this is one that aided the Forerunners quite a bit. In fact, for a time, the only Arcan that people had thought existed in the material plane until eventually the Forerunners saved the rest of his people as he approaches and to each one of you and says generally the same thing.
I would like to greatly apologize for the interruption, but I have something that one of my pilots found that I think may be of interest to all of you. Would you please follow me?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, sure. She'll go back to normal. It's like, yeah, sure. No, that sounds good. I can pause.
I'm sure you'll be able to return to whatever activities you planned on participating in when we finish.
And with that, Ephron, the Arcan sharpshooter and scientist, will lead all of you to a more secluded area, a small private garden. And there you can see the pilot that he spoke of, actually the pilot that had been flying all of you around throughout the fighting, waiting there. And you can see within his hand, he holds up a rolled up piece of parchment and some strange arcane device, one that none of you recognize. As Ephron begins to speak, gesturing at the devices.
We found these on the ship all of you traveled on. It seems as though your companion Carasilla, she discovered how to use the Arcan technology, but in case it didn't work, she also left a letter. We invented a form of suspended message, the same way that all of you would use the message arcane spell, but we capture the essence of a person, recording a sort of moving picture as a message. Ethereal, projected light, of course, but a recorded message nonetheless. And, well, the letter itself, we can see was written by Carasilla, and we didn't listen to the full message, but it is her on the recording, and we thought it would be best if it was in the hands of all of you.
Cecily will look primarily to Morwen. Are we all gathered now, or is this a one by one? Okay. Yeah.
You're all gathered.
She'll look primarily to Morwen before she even, touches anything. Just kind of gauge what she's thinking.
You can tell Morwen's, on the verge of tears, just hearing that she's going to hear her sister's voice again. But she seems stunned to do anything right now.
And, I will stress one final thing. This device is, the energy source within it, due to the low amount of energy that is needed to play the message. This device it'll last 1,000 years, 2, 3, maybe, regardless of how many times you listen to the message a day. So, if it provides you any comfort, it is yours. You may keep it. But we have many more devices that we can use back in town here. In order to play it, you simply...
And he'll kind of show the gesture to Cecily, being the most arcane, connected person here. But Morwen, you also having that wizard in you, you can see the things that need to be done, the gestures and signs that need to be made. And Ephron and the other arcane pilot, they'll leave you be in this small garden. And it is up to all of you when you want to play the message.
Well, now's the time, but I'm not going to make that call for everybody.
How about we all sit down first?
Yeah.
Orwin, when you're ready.
Play it, Cecily.
She'll do the thing.
Okay. With that, you see this ethereal blue light version of Carasilla appear. Just as you remember her, hat and cloak, dagger on her side. She stands there. You can see that just for a moment, it seems as though she doesn't fully understand that the device is recording, and you see a moment of realization as she realizes that the device is recording. And with that, Gemma, I'll pass it off to you.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has that, like, awkward thing of, like, those, like, boomer parents trying to operate, like, any kind of phone. And after just, like, a solid, like, 5 seconds, I imagine, of just, like, her just, like, she will finally start. I think this is working. At least I hope so. I don't know. It's, I suppose, meant to be some kind of program delusion of sort. But, anyways, hello everyone. I will be honest, I don't really know what I'm going to say, let alone how I'm going to start. So, first of all, I'm so very sorry. Please know that I love you all dearly and that I only hope that you can forgive me. I didn't want this to be the answer, but I fear it is the only one. And that's okay. I have felt so deeply lucky that no matter what has happened, no matter how many others have been lost, how many friends, I've always gotten out. Never really known why, cursed it almost, but maybe believing in a reason was a fool's game to begin with. The simple truth is that despite it all, we've all been so fortunate. So fortunate with how many people we've been able to bring back, that all of you are still alive. And maybe it's just that my own luck in these matters has simply been spent. It'll be okay. I assure you there's no pain in this that could ever be greater than the joy I found in all of you. After all, look at us. These words prevailing mean we've won, that we did it. That despite everything, every fear, every setback, every loss, every heartbreak, every bout of hopelessness, we did it. And I don't need to see the future to know it is bright. I'm a storyteller, not the story itself. I never needed one of my own. Just to know that I've played some part in ensuring that there'll be so many people yet to come, all able to make and tell stories of their own. That is honor enough. And I know how many beautiful tales I've already had the privilege to bear witness to. The young girl who learned to love and be loved in turn. The lion who always came back against all odds. The queen who vanquished an eternal winter. And the dragon whose dance transcended chains of tragedy cyclical. To the wanderers, my friends. What chance, what luck it is to have been able to find such a group of people. You've all been through so much and grown so far. I'm beyond proud to be able to call all of you my friends. I only regret that I won't be able to see the rest of all where you'll go. Each of you holds such strength, such courage, such kindness. How strange it is that everyone ever doubted it in themselves. Treasure each other and all that has been fought for. I thank you more than words can express. To Alton, my love, how I wish I could have just held you once more and never let go. I would have spent the rest of my life with you, though I suppose in some way I was able to. If only it could have been a moment longer. And to Morwen, I owe you the greatest apology. We've always promised to be there for each other, two halves of a whole, and yet it's a promise I must break. Take care of our family, alright? Tell them all how much I love them. And if Dorian grows up to be but half the person you are, how extraordinary he will be. I don't think it's too bold to say to all of you that everything will be okay. Good days may not always happen, but better days will always come. They will. So take care of yourselves, of each other, and please also take care of the Kuatoa. They have so much potential, so much good in their little hearts. All they need is someone to be the one believing in them, and they hardly deserve to be abandoned again. So make it a beautiful world. Enjoy all of it. Every sapphire misted mountain, every hot gold hush of noon, every first blossom of spring, every last fall and leaf of autumn. Sing to every mountain, listen to every bird song, and dance to the heartbeat of this beautiful world. And live. I love all of you. Farewell. May joy be with each of you. And that would be where, at least the recording would stop. But if anyone is reading the letter, you'll see that there's also an additional note at the end. A little epigram, it seems, but one that some of you might recognize to be part of a longer poem. Then earth and time will strip bones from their hiding, take eye and cheek and lip, and leave us smiling. That's what she wrote.
Hey. Oh. So, you see the hologram fade and you read the final words on the letter. He's not gone, not truly. But in this current moment, you wish for nothing more than to be able to hug her, all of you.
She was the best of us.
Without a doubt.
Being the people that live is really fucking hard.
But we live because of her. And we live for her. We live to tell her story.
And I think the thing we can do to honor her most right now is go find some musician who's giving it their all and dance. What do all of you think?
I can't think of a better way to honor her.
Perfect.
I just need a few minutes.
You are owed that.
Let us know if you need us, Mormon. We're always here. For you and your guys' family.
I know. Cecily, may I?
Yeah. It's yours.
Morwen will take it. When everyone goes, Morwen would listen to it 2 more times. And after the second time, she would just look down at this device. I know this isn't you. I don't know if you can hear this, some part of you out there. But I just need to say it. We never talked about it. but I think you knew after Telner's pass. I wanted to die. I wanted to do something to make up for that horrible day. That decision to leave them behind. I would have done anything to feel like I could make up for that. And I think you knew that. That's why you didn't tell me about the dagger. What was going to happen. But I need you to know that I'm not that person anymore. I have people in my life, just holding Dorian a little closer, that I can't leave behind. I have the life you always wanted me to have. The one that you always said I deserved. We did it. All I can do is thank you from the bottom of my heart. That you gave my son a future. But I will never stop missing you. And you didn't say goodbye. So someday, wherever you are, let the Dulskis be together again. I miss you so much. Dorian, has trouble sleeping sometimes, like his mom. I've been telling him the stories you used to tell me. Puts him to sleep every time. He and this world will grow to know you. And I'll do everything I can to prove that we deserve the world you left for us. I love you, sister. And I hope to see you again. Thank you. And she will eventually join the others.
Okay. Yeah. You join the others. And you rejoin the crowds of people. And the sound of festival music. All of you find the bard, the minstrel that seems to be giving it their all, and you dance. You dance with each other. Cecily, you find Poe. The two of you dance together. Suni Sultana is there. The two of you dance together. Ajax and Bianca, for a moment, the two of you dance, but then Ildan, Bianca's father, comes over and says,
"Excuse me, Ajax, may I borrow the most fabulous ballet dancer within the finest realms of the Salamander Coast?"
Yeah. Even
And
Of course.
Ildan and Bianca and her father will go off and dance. Kyrian dances with Morwen. And Ajax, there are a few individuals that stop by, and you are very much like Ajax at this party, you're very much like Gandalf in the Hobbit, where he's just like vibing, in between all the hobbits. Keothi, though, being your size, will ask if you'd like to dance. She's not very good, but she does have good rhythm. She's just not very smooth. She's very rocky, literally, But
yeah, we'll dance with Keothi.
Poe and Cecily, as the two of you eventually finish dancing, you take a brief moment off to the side. You actually wanted to speak with Poe earlier.
Yeah, it's very brief. All she's gonna say is, "Have you seen the fighting ring yet?"
Yeah, I have. She kind of like takes a little mud off the side of his forehead. Yeah, I have actually.
Oh, hold on. And she's gonna do like a licked thumb and just like start.
Yeah.
You already went?
I was there.
Oh, you lost.
Yeah, I lost both times.
Both times? To who? Don't tell me. I can read your face. No. No. Why would you give that to him?
I didn't want to. I tried. I even got a surprise attack in on him, and he still just beat me to it. I don't know. I think it's because he's got the dragon in him, and I think that's really unfair.
You got the entire sea in you or whatever. Oh, well, it's fine.
Did you want to stop by?
What, the fighting ring?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take you on.
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, just no magic, okay? It's the only way it's fair.
Yeah, that is the only way it's fair. Wait, for who?
She's already gone.
Dude, you head off.
And yeah, she's obviously gonna lose, but she'll. I like to imagine, based on the dojo conversation that happened many sessions ago, that in the 2 years of downtime, this is a couple's activity for them. She just tries her best to pin him down, and fails every time.
You can see there's one time where Poe kind of lets you get a little close, but then he'll like redirect. Like, oh, you almost got me.
Yeah, she'll keep trying until like somebody orders them to leave so they can keep making money.
All right. So two of you spar for maybe 10, 15 more minutes. Eventually you're kicked out by Thrud. Go find another nest, lovebirds, all right?
Lovebirds were warriors. Yeah. She'll, yeah, at that point, they'll be hanging out for a while, probably go back to the main group at some point, dance. She definitely does also, we don't gotta roleplay it, but there's that giant bread table, and I mean, we gotta check that out. But she'll definitely be checking that out at some point and heading back with everybody else.
Okay. You reconvene with the rest of your companions, and you can see the streets are definitely starting to get a little bit more intense here in Bromsgrove. Fireworks still popping off every few minutes in a celebration of the victory was had. No, the feast is had eventually. As you all find your seats near the head of the table, you can see you currently sit across from the Wanderer, or from the Forerunners. Wow, you currently sit across from the Forerunners, and you can see the Wardens directly next to all of you, and you can see the leaders of the world sitting beside them, right? Kind of stretching on downward of all the people that were instrumental in the saving of this world. Well, I guess it would be the Wanderers, the Forerunners, the Wardens, then the Silent Shields, and then the leaders of the world. You can see that in some areas there are an empty seat with a name tag sitting on the plate in front of the seat. There's one for Carasilla, and this is the one downside of having two campaigns that are going on at the same time. Well, as of right now, based off of what I have heard from the Forerunners, I believe Nalthian will survive, but there's no way of knowing. So we're going to go into the rest of this as if he will, because he is in parts of the epilogue. So we're going to hope. Otherwise, we're going to have to make some addendums. But you all can
I was going to say maybe Bianca would hang out with Nalthian too, as they are fam.
Yeah.
In the club.
But
so if he's dead, we can just add in some more sad tears and things.
Yeah.
So.
But eventually, the food is brought out by these unseen servants, and plates and plates and plates of food are passed down to all of these people that are gathered within Brahmsgrove. The largest feast and gathering of people in this age. It is a fine gemstone to place upon the crown of this age. Although most of the crown was rotted and decayed, it ends in this magnificent bang. This war cry of victory. You all eat your dinner, you enjoy your company, wanderers and forerunners, wardens and silent shields, joking and laughing and living in merriment. Joyful of the victory that all of you had. The nighttime activities eventually come around, and you all know that within the next hour or so, the Lantern Festival will be happening, where you kind of make your own little lantern for an individual or loved one you lost sometime in the war against the Shadow. And you'll throw them up into the sky to allow them to float off into the distance. So was there anything else anybody wanted to do before that little festival? Little part of the festival?
I think I'm sated.
Yeah, there's one thing. It's not huge, but at some point, probably as we're like watching the fireworks, or maybe right before the fireworks start, I like the idea of Bianca, Cecily, and Poe all like standing together, and maybe while they're watching the fireworks or something, as they start to take off, she wants to wrap her arms around her little younger siblings and just kind of hold them close and just kind of take in that they all made it. And where they are now from when they started. That's it.
I'm gonna cry.
I know. I can't actually say more. I will cry. Y'all can say more, but you feel the vibe is I love you guys.
And there's, I would imagine, of course, at any sort of sappiness, there's a bit of an eye roll from Cecily, but like, she's at the point now where like, even glancing at Poe, there's like an immediate softening in her expression, and like she's definitely very warm and fuzzy in this moment right now too, despite whatever she's saying. Don't listen to her.
Don't listen to her.
Ajax eats so much food.
Hell yeah!
No need to cut calories and trim anymore. Yeah.
All of you have noticed since this whole festival started, he's eaten fried Oreos, churros, fucking
those all canon in this world.
turkey legs.
Are you
Yeah,
naming
it's my
like
turn now. It's my turn to
American
make
state fair food?
Yeah, turkey legs. He's eating everything, and it's most of the time you know that he eats healthy. He is not anymore. He is done maintaining this fucking stupid form that he has.
Man, it's good. You remember Thor in one of the Avengers movies? He like gives up for 5 years.
Yeah, that's gonna be, well, Ajax hasn't given up on life, but
yeah.
Imagine Ajax with that body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're gonna 5 years from now they're gonna need you for something at Thrall, and you're gonna be like, all right, let's get to it.
So funny.
He has like back pain now.
Same.
Suni, Morwen, do you guys
Yeah.
have anything?
Are are Suni's adopted kids here?
Yeah, Willow and Suni Jr. They are. Yeah, they were actually at the puppet show.
Hell yeah. Well, he would just, spend time with them too. Maybe like turn into a dragon and fly them around up in the sky.
Oh yeah,
Or some shit. I don't know.
In the astral like rowboat racing, you end up soaring past them, and some of the boats begin to kind of capsize, but you swing back over and tip it right side up. Willow and Suni Jr. They love it. In fact, Sultana also, when you unlock that part of you, she unlocked it within her, and she helped defend Port Sahala in the gemstone with that form. And
I would like to do our dance in the proper way as dragons.
Yeah. And Willow and Suni Jr. Suni Jr. rides you, and Willow rides Sultana, and the two of you race, trying to speed through the sky faster, one faster than the other, doing your best. Sultana's always been quicker, but in that final moment, you can see she lets up a little speed to let you guys cross the finish line at the exact same time.
That's very sweet.
Mormon?
Yeah. I think Mormon would try to catch Cecily when Poe's off doing something at some point.
Yeah, Poe sees
he's
Alec
getting
with not Alec, sees Ajax with the churros. He's like, wait a minute, Bianca, Cecily, sorry. I need one of those.
Understood, my guy. Bring me one. And yeah, she'll just be standing alone now, waiting for her fantasy churro.
Are you better now, Cecily?
Do you mean, since you first met me all the way back in Jormungandr?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think yes. It's not so much that living got any easier, it's just... I mean, I meant what I said earlier. Having to survive is hard. And I know you know that. And I know that you, maybe more than anyone else, as much as they've helped and understood, I think you know what it's like to wish for a poetic ending, like I did for a while. But now I think ever since my second life started, I realized how little I did in the first. I've just been catching up ever since. I mean, I got a dad now. I already had 3 moms. It'd be really cool to have another, but I feel like I've had enough. You know, most people don't get 3. Siblings, cousins, best friends, old war buddies, political allies, admirers, I guess. Sure, there'll be a painting or 2 of me at some point, hanging up somewhere.
Will you sit still so that they can make it?
You know what I'm gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to alter just one little thing of me, and then 20 minutes later I'm gonna get rid of it. And I'm just gonna watch the artist lose his mind as he wonders why he put that freckle there.
That's pretty funny.
I think so. Don't tell my dad I'm doing that. Not because he'd like get me in trouble, just because I want to tell him after I did it, and then it's gonna be a whole laugh, you know.
No, I wouldn't spoil that. I'll try not to take too much of your time. I just had a few questions.
Yeah.
You remember the first thing you said to us when we first met?
God, it's gonna be embarrassing.
Wasn't your best moment.
Was
We'd
it
said we
something
couldn't-
along the lines of, who the fuck are these people and why are we taking care of them?
It was about how you should make a separate camp from us because we suggested a detour and camping with us would be really stupid.
So along those lines.
Yeah, something like that. I just have to ask, if you could go back and do that over, what do you think you would have said instead?
I don't know. I mean, I feel terrible about all sorts of shit I said back then. Of course I do, but hard to take any of it back when I know that version of me was so scared all the time. I thought you would just kill us in the night. I
could barely keep my eyes open when we first met.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that now with context. Be honest, I guess I would ask if you were hungry.
Oh, we
I
were
usually
so
have.
hungry.
I usually have an extra slice or two with me. You know, I wouldn't have gotten anywhere if it wasn't for everyone I ran into. But when we first got on that boat, your sister and I shared a watch together on that first night, and all she really said to me was that things are allowed to be okay. I think that was
sounds like
really...
her.
Trust me, I was annoyed in the moment, but I think that was kind of the start of it. So many things already were okay, and I just wasn't letting any of it be.
I'm sorry too for when we first met. So many of you were going through so much. But I was hurting so badly I couldn't see it. How could anyone's pain match what I went through? I was so dead set. Going to the past and fixing it all. Making it like it never happened. I just ignored everything else around me. I'm sorry I wasn't more there for you.
More when you carried my corpse to the resurrection table. You were there for me. I mean, apology accepted if that's, what you were thinking I would say.
Something along those lines, yes. It's the goal, at least.
Well, okay, there you go.
I'm very happy you're doing better. You seem better.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I could ask one last favor of you.
Sure.
You're going to outlive us all, aren't you?
Yeah, that crosses my mind from time to time.
When I'm gone, would you come visit her?
Yeah. Yeah, of course I will. Of course.
Thank you. Do you do hugs now, or is that still, like, not cool, or...
Shut up, and she'll hug you.
She'll return.
Sounds good. So, two of you share that moment. And return to the group. And at that moment, Poe comes back with your churro, Cecily. Here you go. You're really good.
Oh, fuck yeah. Instant mood shift. She's just eating now. Cecily is in the present.
All right. Conversation is had, and the Lantern Festival and the end of the night is quickly approaching. Anything else? Last call.
Ajax is going to, during the Lantern Festival, find Bianca.
During it or before it?
I guess before. If there's like actual moments you're going to be doing during the Lantern Festival, then I will do it before it. I guess as we're kind of just looking at the fireworks and stuff, Ajax will come over and just say,
Can't believe we did it.
I know. There's also a part of me that felt like, of course we did. Not necessarily like how it all went down, but we're a group that just really didn't stop.
I'm not sure if you've heard this recently, but I am proud of you. And I'm sure everyone else is. You've been doing such a great job with leading a kingdom. It's still unreal to think that you are a queen, but you are a great one. No, thank you. If it wasn't for you and the Wanderers, I wouldn't be here. All of you gave me purpose.
You were my rock. You kept me steady when nothing did. We all needed each other. I really needed you. So thank you.
we get to leave the world in a much better place.
We do. And I hope you get the rest you need.
Yes, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. I very much appreciate being on the council. But I think within the next year, I'd like to train someone else to take my place. I am getting very old. And I have not been back to Thrall in a very long time. Properly.
You should go.
Well,
Earn that.
well, you've earned that I at least make sure you are left in good hands when I leave.
Yes, but also maybe you can help me start a process. Maybe you don't have to train somebody that we choose, but maybe start to select some people that you think would be good and help them see if they resonate with the people. And the people can kind of decide. And then you can train them and everything and do all of that yada 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 political stuff. Yep. But
Oh, you know how much I love political things.
we all do. And when you go to Thrall, I need you to return this for me. And she'll like gesture to the bow on her. She'd still have it on her back at the party, I guess. Maybe. Oh, sure. She has it. But she'll gesture to Hades' bow. Our deal is done, so it's not really mine anymore.
Are you sure?
Oh, I'm sure. It was a mutual exchange. He needed me and I needed him. Nothing more.
You won. Of course. Anywhere specific or just back to Thrall?
Make it a moment for you. The Thrallian gods have a genuine connection for you, not me.
Okay.
Okay.
I won't be leaving yet.
Good. I'm not ready to say goodbye. There's been too many of those.
I agree. Thank you for everything, Bianca.
She'll just kind of like, you see that she starts to cry like she was when she was a little girl a little bit, but she'll like try and like make sure you don't see and rub the tears and just smile at you.
And Ajax will, looking at the fireworks, just say,
What a beautiful night.
It's perfect.
Do you want to go find the others?
Yeah, we should be with them.
Let's go.
So you move to find the rest of your companions. You have a few more moments of reveling in the victory, chatting with the Forerunners, with the Wardens, with some of the Silent Shields, some of your companions. Giothi, of course, spends much of the night around all of you. So does Suna. Mimir will come up and make jokes with Cecily and Sune, seeing if there was anything they learned that he could, or that they could share with him. Always on the lookout for more knowledge to gain. Hrothgar will approach Morwen and have a private conversation with her about something, but you can see Morwen comes back, eyes a little more wide, and a little more wet. Sultana will stay very close to you, Suni, staying very close by your side with Suni Jr. and with Willow, flanking each one of you. Strange fantasy family you are, but a beautiful one nonetheless. Odin, Tyr, and Thrud will gather around you, Cecily. Tyr staying by your side. Odin softened entirely. You can tell that he hasn't fully forgiven himself for what he's done, but you can see that the man has made progress. You can see that man that Tyr told you about. You can see him coming back slowly. And you can see Thrud look at her grandfather with genuine hope. He might get better. Poe walks on your opposite side, Cecily, holding your hand, staying close to you as the two of you munch on your churros together, preparing for the festival. Ren, Hubert, and Belvedere, the three Sumerestians, they spend their time together, preparing to light their lanterns, on their lanterns. Vondor, last breath, you can see the Mazrim Mountain Dwarf. He gives each one of you a fond farewell and wishes you well as he prepares to head out into the world, not staying for the rest of the festival as there's work that needs to be done. And he looks to you, Ajax, and asks about the spear. And it's a very strange moment, Ajax, where you almost have this like ghost limb urge where you go to grab for the spear, but it's not there. And he smiles and nods that the weapon was put to rest. Alton will stay with all of you, mostly standing near Morwen. You can see a sadness welling in his eyes at each chord and note of music he hears, but it's not sadness, it's melancholy, it's bittersweet. Beauty and pain. Ildan, he is right beside you, Bianca, going into this ceremony. As you two pick out, you help him pick out the right colors and materials to use for the lantern he's making. And I think it might be the same one that Bianca would make. All of these companions, all of these friends, all of these allies, they stand beside you, happy beside you, thankful that they had you beside them the entire time. With that, the festival is about to come to a close. And all of you prepare your lanterns. Now, this lantern could be for just the lives that were lost in general, or it could be for a specific person, a sort of symbol of their soul, that part leaving this place. So I ask, are you guys making specific lanterns for this moment, or are some people just making more general ones?
Well, Bianca's definitely got the one for her mom with her dad, and yeah, focusing on that.
What do you think that lantern looks like? Like what colored parchment and type of sticks, or what type of color flame would be in it as well?
That's a great question. I'm trying to remember what color flame it was when they were like crafting the armor. I feel like it was like a blue.
It was like a teal blue, yeah.
Yeah. So the flame would definitely be teal blue, but I think Bianca's mom, though we didn't have a huge arc with her, how I imagined her in my head was actually kind of similar to Caracella's vibe, just more on that chaotic rogue energy instead of Bard. But like focusing on a very warm red. So it kind of looks like a little bit of I guess a stained glass window, how there's a bunch of different colors all over and they all kind of sparkle, but they harmonize still somehow with that teal color.
Very nice. You and Ildan, Bianca's father, you hold it together. preparing for that silence to fall over the crowd. Who else?
Her death was sort of indirectly from the shadow, but I think Cecily would want to, in this moment, with the Azir clan, have a moment for Estrid, and she would invite Odin to participate in that moment as well, knowing that it's not just her and Tyr that are mourning that loss, that it's now a thing that all of them regret and a pain that all of them are feeling. And she's finally ready to let that reality exist right alongside her, that this man is hurting too.
And what is what do you think the lantern would look like, Cecily? What color flame?
I would think the gold of the Tyrson eye. I would think.
Sounds good. You, Tyr, and Odin stand together, holding it within your hands. You can see Thrud made one for her father. You can see the pale blues and the bright blue lightning flame that crackles within it. Orwin, you were gonna say something?
Yeah. She would get as many different colors as she could. And do a poor, I'm sure, impression of a gleaming cloak upon the lantern. But doing the best she can. And she would light it using her own magic, a pure white flame. Which would just send all the colors out, just making it as bright and as beautiful as possible.
Jack, Suni?
I think Suni would make one for the Mother of Mountains. And he would make it with Willow. Greens and, I don't know, blues and pretty nature colors.
You took a couple of flowers in there. Yeah, it's beautiful. And Ajax.
First, Ajax was going to make one for Amelia, but he's already had that closure. So instead, on his lantern, he's just going to write on the exterior. The flame will be just a normal flame, but the exterior will be lives lost throughout the battle, Captain Fedorov. Those Austin Maester, those lost throughout the battle, the ones that there's so many that he can remember. But he just writes down as many as he possibly can remember, and then lets that go.
All of you prepare these lanterns of ones you've lost, ones you've loved, and ones you truly do hope to be reunited with one day. It is a lot to process as the crowds fade to silence. The festival music comes to a close as all people on all the terraced ledges and high streets of Brahmsgrove, all the people hold these lanterns together in unison. And all of you, standing on the tallest tower of Nabir Tarman, the Forerunners to your right, the Wardens to your left, and the Silent Shields behind you, you signal this moment. Let these lanterns go. Now, before all of you let your lanterns go, is there anything else that any of you wish to say to each other?
Yeah, I think Cecily's having a hard time not thinking about this now that it came up in her conversation with Morwen. But she's gonna kind of struggle to say it to everybody as they're gathered. I know this is not what we want to be thinking about right now, but I don't know when all of us are going to be sitting next to each other in a calm, not world-threatening situation again, so I just want to say, if everything goes fine in my life from here on out, I'm going to be around for a while. So, if there's any unfinished business, anything you want me to do, when all of you are gone, when all of you have gone, naturally, I hope, I think if I have any sort of job left here, it's to carry on everything. And you're all gone. Died when I was 15, and now I'm gonna live to be 400. So.
I think I would like my shield in a museum.
Well, I think we can get on that while you're living.
But we're talking about after. I still like my shield, Cecily.
Okay. Okay. Well, we can arrange to get it from you once you are gone, so that you can have it for now. I understand that.
For me, Cecily, just keep living a life that makes you happy. That's all I wanted for you, for all of us. And let's just do that, okay?
It's gonna be hard the more people go, but I'm sure I'll figure it out.
Well, I think now we should think about life. What an adventure we've been on. From start to finish. I mean, even before I was here. The things that we've accomplished. The obstacles we have leapt over.
Who we've grown to be. All of us.
People we've inspired. And saved.
People who inspired us and saved us.
The world is better because of what we did. All of it.
Yeah.
My time with all of you was not as long as I wanted it to be.
It doesn't end here, Morwen.
I know. But I just want you to know the time that has been spent. I will never forget it. Thank you, all of you.
Truly been and honor to fight and stand by your sides.
So, Suni, this might be the weirdest question I've ever asked you, but it just occurred to me that all of us could get on your dragon back and take in the entire world from up in the sky if we wanted to.
It would be my honor to take you. See the lanterns from above, even.
Yeah. See everything we saved, you know? I haven't had much of a chance to fly around ever since we got out of everything. But the little chances I have had, I want the rest of you to see what that's like. See everything we fought for all at once.
Yeah.
One last ride.
Well, I mean, it's not going to be the last ride. I'm going to be taking advantage of this as long as I can, you know?
Yeah.
I was like,
4, we do that. I just wanted to say, I don't know how many times I have said this, but I know I say it a lot.
Well, one more. Go ahead.
I love all of you. And I'm so happy to be a part of this family.
me too. I love this family.
This is not the end. Cecily knows how to teleport, I think. So we can all meet up.
Yeah, but I need the circles ahead of time. You know, that logistically,
Maybe we need to get on that.
we can get on that.
Bianca, we should create a network.
We have been.
Oh.
I'm gonna need to soak all of this up as much as I can.
Yeah. And to state what has been painfully obvious since maybe the second week of all of us meeting, I love all of you too. See, Ajax, you just gotta do it when I don't have the war paint on. That's a
I
whole
understand.
different Cecily.
It's been amazing to see you grow.
Yeah, 2 whole inches.
So, how exactly are we going to hold on?
With all your might.
You're worried about holding on?
Well, no. I'm more worried about everyone else.
Don't worry about us.
I guess I didn't think about that since I can fly now.
Bianca, my whole existence is worrying about other people.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Double entendre there.
Well, no, you only get to live on my back from now on. Forever.
I mean, as long as you're okay with that. What about when you're back in Dragonborn form? Am I still just jetpacked up there?
Yeah,
Ajax.
pretty much.
All right.
What's a jetpack?
Ajax looks past everyone.
He goes, "Oh, the lanterns are going. We need to move quicker."
You can see the wardens release theirs, and the forerunners release theirs.
It's only natural that we're the ones going, oh yeah!
Yeah.
That feels like this campaign.
Some things never change.
Each one of you take your lanterns, with one final look to each other. You lift them off into the air, and you see hundreds of thousands of lanterns begin to rise. A fraction of the lives lost in the war against the Shadow. But it is a testament to your victory, your tenacity, and your heroism. The world is safe. It is a better place, a kinder place, because all of you made the sacrifices to make it so. And finally, peace. Peace finally envelops the world for a very, very, very long time. As the party concludes, and the wanderers begin to go their separate ways, we move to our epilogue. No, some general notes first. People you adventured with. Huna, Akai, and Renshi. Suna leads Adarashi with wisdom and kindness, extending the nation's reach and influence across the Salamander coast. Unexpectedly, she finds a deep connection with Winter Renshi. What begins as mutual support in their role gradually blossoms into love. Together, they balance each other's out. Suna's warmth softens Renshi's winter spirit, allowing him to embrace his humanity. Their relationship brings new stability to Adarashi, securing its lineage and future peace. With Renshi at her side, Suna guides her people with strength and compassion, leaving behind a legacy of unity, balance, and enduring love. Keothi Kalukatho travels the world gathering knowledge, and she transforms the Hearthstone into a repository of wisdom, the greatest library ever known to humanoid kind. She unites all of the Goliaths under the Kalukatho name, dissolves those old rivalries, and gives them the mission of going out into the world. But not before. With the help of Willow, the daughter of Elowen, he completes Groombar's work, the original Mother of Mountains. And being the masterful cleric she is, she transforms the Goliaths into beings of flesh, preserving only a remnant of their stony origin. And this transformation allows Goliaths to fully integrate with the world beyond the Hearthstone, becoming pillars of their societies. Then we have Morwen Dulski. Morwen continues her service to the Children of the Flame, honoring the ideals of her sister, once embodied with unwavering dedication. Over the years, she rises to succeed Hrothgar as Lightbearer, taking the surname Almer as a mark of her commitment. Under her guidance, the Children of the Flame flourish. Her leadership spans over 6 decades, marked by justice, compassion, and an unshakable resolve. When her time finally comes, Morwen passes peacefully, her legacy firmly etched into the hearts of those she inspired. As her soul departs, it merges with the eternal flame of Nibir Tarman, imbuing it with a radiance that burns brighter than ever, a light destined to shine across the ages. Her essence strengthens the flame, allowing it to endure for eons, a beacon of hope and courage that will guide countless generations. Morwen Almer, the greatest light bearer, becomes part of the very light she once carried, her spirit forever woven into the heart of people. In terms of kingdoms and places, Adarashi, under Suna's reign, expands and prospers. Entire islands are pulled from the ocean floor through her mastery of gravity magic. Adarashi becomes a dominant power not just in the Salamander coast, but in the world, known for strength and unity. However, several hundred years after Suna's death, the entire nation mysteriously vanishes, leaving its fate and location a mystery. Lisleia, formerly Bella Clara, thrives as a democratic nation, embracing a government by and for the people, based on principles established by Bianca Damaris, her council, and the assistance of Barnas Talmaru. Over centuries, rulers and ideologies change, but the nation remains resilient and peaceful. Around 700 years later, the central government gradually dissolves as city-states manage themselves through elected mayors. And When the world reshapes, some cities are lost, but Lislea's democratic ideals persist, forming the basis for many governments and civilizations in the Fourth Age. And some general party notes. Every year, the Wanderers would gather around Wintermas for a simple gift exchange. However, these reunions grew bittersweet over the years as the number of party members gradually thinned and diminished. On top of the winter gatherings, they would do biannual vacations. So every 2 years, the remaining Wanderers, along with any companions, they choose a vacation destination. A vote was held, and it would often spark some pretty heated debates, mostly between Cecily, with a desire to be somewhere warm, and Ajax with a desire to be somewhere cold. I mean, all that fur, you know. Although they would rarely ever agree on where to go, the trips became a treasured respite. Through each journey, it did, however, become a quiet realization of passage of time, as each vacation would get smaller and smaller. Those are the general notes. Now we get to the real hard part. The party members. First up is Suni. Suni, aware after the events of the last battle, you're aware you only have 1 week left to live, and he dedicates this time to a journey of restoration and farewell. Embracing the world he's protected, he sets out to heal corrupted lands, accompanied by many of those who were dearest to him: Keothi, Sultana, Poe, Suni Jr., and Willow. Together, they visited blighted areas across the world, attempting to revive the land to its former glory. In each place where nature resists his touch, he places magical bramble wards, living barriers to seal the corruption in, holding it in its place to prevent its spread and allow nearby ecosystems a chance to thrive undisturbed. Throughout the years, Suni's connection to nature deepens. He travels to majestic mountains, ancient forests, and tranquil lakes, places where Suni, in his ancient dragon form, can pour his love and magic into the earth. He takes joy in seeing these places bloom with life once more. Even if only in small patches, it is a victory. As the months pass, Suni and his companions move from land to land, sharing laughter, forming memories in beauty's nature and the natural wonders of the world. He embraces the world as he's never seen it before, savoring every single detail: the rustling of the leaves, the whisper of the wind, the feel of earth beneath his feet. Nights around campfires, sharing stories, and days in silence, feeling the pulse of the earth and skies. When the end of his year approaches, Suni gathers his loved ones for one final farewell. He offers words of wisdom and imparts his last requests for his children's futures. He entrusts them with his dreams for the world and the work he's protected. In those final moments, Suni and Sultana step away together, finding peace in one last embrace, before soaring once more as dragons. But this time their forms do not return. You can see that in their origin, they coalesced from starlight, and now at their end, they dissolve into it. They merge with the cosmos, and their spirits are forever woven into the skies above. Two dragons, now eternal, shining as a beacon of love and legacy. As Suni departs the world of the living. And Ajax. Ajax spends the first few years training Zeno, preparing him to take on his legacy as master of war. Patience and strength, Ajax builds alliances across nation, guiding Lislea and its neighbors towards a lasting peace. Eventually, Zeno's skills grow, And Ajax begins to see the world shift into more capable hands, trusting the foundation he built will remain strong. So as Ajax steps away from that political and military life he once commanded, he seeks solitude and a quiet existence. He retreats to a modest cottage tucked deep within the woods of Thrall, where he finds a small city nearby. There, he begins to sow the seeds of a different kind of legacy. He opens Ajax's Academy of Heroes, a place for children to find discipline, purpose, and confidence. The school teaches more than just martial prowess. It fosters resilience, compassion, and integrity, giving young souls an outlet to discover their own strengths. To the children of Thrall, Ajax becomes a mentor, a guide, a figure they look to with admiration. He shapes the next generation not as soldiers, but as individuals who can stand tall in any storm, instilling them with courage to confront life with bravery and kindness. And then, in that quiet cottage in Thrall, that old Leonin who'd spent his life in battle and service, he finally rests. His body drifts into sleep one last time. And as dawn breaks, his physical form fades, transforming into these strands of golden light that rise and merge with the morning sky. Ajax's spirit is welcomed into the Hall of Heroes, where his essence becomes a constellation, a Leonin figure that gleams in the night, forever a guardian and symbol of valor for those who look to the stars. His legacy through the Academy of Heroes, the lives he touched, and the battles he fought, it endures as a quiet but steady light. Now, Bianca. Oh God, I can't read. Bianca, you oversee the kingdom of Lisleia, guiding it towards peace and balance, but there is one final thing you have to do. You will not allow Isin to return. That shadow has haunted you for too long. You will not allow him to reform. One final time, you take that bow, enchanted with balefire, and you're joined by Yorick and the beginnings of the wild hunt to track down and destroy the last fragment of Isin in the abyss. With Isin slain, you can finally move on, and your kingdom prospers. Your rule transitions into a democratic process, establishing elections that give a voice to the people. Over the decades after you stepped down, leaders like Victor, Zeno, Giovanna, the only survivor from Maester, and even Suni Jr. rise to power over the years, embodying the principles you set forth: peace, honor, and respect. But Bianca, you dedicate yourself to your people. Even as your title as queen fades in time, your work in Lisleia endures. Bianca's no longer a ruler, but a public servant. With every passing year, she becomes an integral part of the kingdom's culture. The figure who bridges the gap between those in power and the common folk. Your connection with Nalfian and Twig deepen, as you find a comfort in the family that has been forged by the trials and battles that you survived together. Bianca, you're there for your father, Ildan, as he takes his final breaths. You watch as he fades peacefully, as his last words are a whisper of love for Natalia. You feel this quiet sorrow, this gratitude, though, fill you. You wove yourself into the heart of your kingdom, and your lasting presence does not fade. Even as King Queen fades. But Bianca, you continue to serve your people not just in life, but beyond it. After many years of dedication, your mortal life finally draws to a close, but your spirit remains untethered to any singular domain of death. Instead, you exist as a guide to lost souls, a shepherd between worlds. You move them through unseen realms, a silent guardian who leads the spirit to their final rest. Whether it be the fields of Elysium, whether it be the hells, or whether it be this tranquil land, this limbo of idyllic rolling hills, cool rivers, and branching trees. A realm that, Bianca, you're not familiar with. But there's a song on the wind in that place that you know, even thousands of years after you've departed the land of the living. In your death, you become a symbol for peace and reverence, as your essence is used to bridge life and the afterlife, fulfilling an oath you made long ago to the Raven Queen, righting a wrong, and being that sense of guidance to those aimless souls who have nowhere to go. From there, we move to Cecily. Cecily, the daughter of Tyr. You take your place in Jormungandr, and shortly after that festival, that celebration of the victory, you solidify your position as Princess of Tyr, and you reinforce your family's legacy. With dignity and strength, you navigate your duties, ensuring that the values of Tyr are instilled and preserved. You travel to Water's Wake, visiting the orphanage that you lived at for a time, and you improve it. There, you can see firsthand the lives that you've touched. And Cecily, you feel your heart swell with purpose as you reassure these children that they too have a place in this world. You continue to make meaningful changes. You work with Bianca when she's still queen as you reshape Lislia's institutions, ensuring that the children from troubled homes find support and healing. And with her, you craft this new era, this new system that protects the vulnerable and uplifts the downtrodden. You mend the gaps that once created harm and hardship. And you find so much solace knowing that you've built a safer world for others, where no child will have to grow up in the shadows that you once knew. Later, you invite the Wanderers to Fjardeleth, where Tyr and Odin welcome them with warmth, reverence, and Tyr stands before them all. At the end of that first year before Suni passes, greeting them with warmth and reverence, he shares a speech filled with love, pride, and gratitude for the journey they shared with his daughter. And as a symbol of their bond, he gives each one of them a bracelet, a mark of their lineage, a bracelet that mimics the design of Tyr's tiara. A moment that binds all of you together as family, even beyond death. Forged in hardship and solidarity, you carry the strength of Jormungandr with you. Finally, Cecily, you find a lasting peace beside Poe. After years of building a family and a life filled with joy and love, the two of you settle on Jormungandr's rugged coast. Together you raise your children and share a life of quiet content. You carry the weight of your journey. As Cecily, you outlive all of your companions. But not Poe. Whether it be to the time dilation in his life, but he spends every single day with you. Even though he ages and ages and ages, And towards the end of his life, the same creeping memory loss that had taken his father begins to take him. He never forgets you. Never. You live long, fulfilling lives, and in your final moments, the two of you pass away together, wrapped in each other's arms. Your spirits rise together like a gentle breeze over the sea as your love becomes a quiet, eternal force that lingers along the shores of Jormungandr. Constellation appears. A young girl with lightning coursing around her. A hero solidified in that sky. But that is not where our epilogue ends. As Carasilla. Your legacy continues as the Hidden Flame rises to honor her memory. Inspired by Carasilla's life, they step out of the shadows, choosing no longer to hide from the world but to move through it openly. They adopt the Gleeman's path. They roam as guardians and storytellers, spreading light and hope wherever they go. In her name, they carry tales of valor and peace, becoming bearers of her song. They vow that Carasilla's story, her voice, will be carried to every corner of the world, a testament that even in loss, the heart of her light lives on. Even in your absence, Carasilla, your legacy continues to bloom. The Kuatoa, who once served the light, giving it that last shred of divinity it needed. They stay in Lislia for a time, but eventually they make a pilgrimage to Brahmsgraf. They gather at Nabir Tarman, which they revere as Mother Light, and they tend to the tower, feeding its flames, breathing life back into the structure as they rebuild it to stand as a beacon against any darkness that would come near it. They become fervent caretakers of Carasilla's memory, ensuring that her light will never fade. We see a campfire. The leaves slowly shifting to that pale orange and yellow and gold. The leaves of autumn gathering. We hear a hurdy-gurdy churning away, filling its droning tones throughout the woods. An individual in a cloak sits on a log. The cloak is rather short, maybe only a half cape. A few patches, 9 or 10. A gleeman in the making. He sings a song on the wind. Oh, I am the last of the giants. My people are gone from the earth. The last great mountain giant who ruled the world at my birth. Oh, the small folk have stolen my forest. They've stolen my rivers and hills. They've built a great wall through my valleys and fished all the fish from my rills. Oh, I am the last of the giants, so learn well the words of my song. For when I am gone, the singing will fade, and silence shall last long and long. My love, the singing will not fade, my love. I promise. And With that, the droning returns. And Carasilla's song, the song of souls, a song of rivers, of emotion, of love, of light. It is sung throughout the world. It is heard on the wind and trees. It is a song that people chase after. His voice and song carry her memory into the world, and as he sings, he honors the legacy of the storyteller, bard, and the gleeman who gave everything to ensure that light would endure. And in the end, these heroes leave the world richer, kinder, and more resilient. Their journey reaches far, far, far beyond their lives, woven into the fabric of the world, into the rivers, the stars, the Hall of Heroes, and the whispered stories that echo through time. Their legacy isn't just one of victory, but a lasting light that continues to guide and inspire those who come after. Peace. Finally, peace. And with that, as the third age ends, as the story of the Wanderers comes to a close, that, my friends, is where we will end this campaign. Thank you all so much for playing. I love all of you so much, and I love these characters, and this story wouldn't be half of what it is without all of you. Actually, it wouldn't be 5/6 of what it is without all of you. So thank you. I love all of you a lot. I love these characters. I love this story, and I'm just happy I got to share it with all of you.
Thank you for DMing, Joe. Thank you for
thank
us
you.
be a part of this story.
Of course. Happy to do so.
Had me cry.
We're already crying? What the hell?
Way ahead of your brother.
Yeah.
Hold it in. Where have you been?
Man. Oof.
I've been typing the summary.
Thank you all so
Gotta
much for
stay
watching.
sharp.
Be sure to tune in on Saturday. I think that's the only reason why I'm not bawling right now. It's because to me it's not all the way over yet.
You gotta hold it together.
I don't know. I don't know if I can do this again.
Too bad. You
I
have
don't-
to.
You know I'm playing in 3 campaigns, dude.
I don't know if I can do this again. I stand by that.
Well, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for watching the adventures of the Salamander Coast. I hope all of you enjoyed. It was a long story, but it was one that I really think was worth telling. Thanks, and we will see you on Saturday. Thanks for watching.